It's the final game in the Queen City of Cincinnati, Ohio, and not too far from downtown, just across. We are here at Great American Ballpark and the home of the Cincinnati Reds. It's the Brewers and the Reds, Game 3 of this series, and the Brewers need a win to salvage at least one here in this ballpark. And hi, everybody. We welcome you from Great American Ballpark. Brian Anderson along with Bill Schroeder. We'll hear from Sophia in just a moment. All right, Rock, so the Brewers yesterday, Chase Anderson is injured. He goes on the disabled list after the game. It looks like it's going to be a pretty long injury for him, a left oblique injury. That means about a month to 6 weeks, we're guessing, and that means the Brewers are without their best starter for a while.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to replace him. And a swing in the second inning. You can see him wincing in pain right there. It wasn't good. He got into the dugout, was not able to finish. So he's going to be out for a long time. As you say, it's going to be tough to replace a guy like Chase Anderson. So he goes on the 10-day disabled list, and they do make a roster move again with Jorge Lopez. They called him up from Double-A. He was starting. He was working out of the bullpen a little bit. 3-6 record, 5.04 earned run average down in the minor leagues, but at ERA a little bit deceiving. He had one really bad start. So Lopez is going to be working out of the bullpen. He is available out of the bullpen today to pitch multiple innings if need be, so that's good news.
Lopez is the 13th rated prospect in the Brewers system. We have seen him in the major leagues before, but the transaction wire continues to fill up. And let's bring in Sophia Minard now. And Sophia, that is transaction number 78 and 79 for the Brewers. What is the plan moving forward according to the manager?
Well, Craig Counsell said that Chase Anderson tomorrow will see Dr. William Rush, so we'll get a better idea of just how long it'll be, the severity of the oblique strain for Chase. But he said we may be creative in how we fill that spot in the rotation, and maybe start to start. They want to get through the next few days, see how the bullpen is used. So again, we'll find out more on Chase Anderson's status tomorrow when we're back in Milwaukee. And now Jorge Lopez is back up, and he joins that group of starters that have now become relievers, guys like Brent Suter, Paulo Espino, Josh Hader, Jorge Lopez joining that group. When you go back to 2015, he was the organization's best pitching prospect. He's now been asked to make the move out of the bullpen, and he made 3 relief appearances in Biloxi, gave up 5 earned runs there. So here's what Jorge Lopez had to say about the transition and the opportunity now with the Brewers.
He's fresh. He's ready to go. He can throw multiple innings today if we would need him to. A couple of the candidates weren't. I think when you're talking about, today and tomorrow, I mean, that matters.
Just try to compete every time I go to the mound and execute those pitches right away. That's the big thing from reliever. So that's, it's been long time I've been in spin training. I've been like reliever too, so I'm learning pretty much about it.
The Brewers have been swept just one time this season. That was a 2-game series against Toronto. Tonight they look to Jimmy Nelson to avoid the sweep. How he looks to bounce back from a loss against Atlanta. The pitching matchup coming up next.
A beautiful Thursday night in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we are just about ready for baseball tonight. Brewers and Reds, game 3 of this series, and the pitching matchup is Jimmy Nelson against Homer Bailey. Interesting note on this matchup: since the start of 2015, tonight is Homer Bailey's 3rd start at Great American Ballpark. He's been out with multiple injuries, including Tommy John surgery. Tonight is Jimmy Nelson's 7th start during that time frame at this ballpark. So the road pitcher has had a lot more experience here in the last couple of years than Homer Bailey, and he is trying to come back from injury. 2nd start since returning from the DL. The home runs have been flying out of here in the first 2 games. Will we see it again tonight? It's game 3. Lineups, first pitch coming your way. The warmest night we've had since we've been in Cincinnati. Weather's been great here for this series. Brewers are trying to win for the first time, though, and get back to Miller Park to start a series tomorrow on a winning note. Here's the Potawatomi batting order for the Brew Crew. VR's back in there, his first start since returning from the disabled list. Santana to follow, then Braun. Shaw, Aguilar, and Perez in the middle, with Pena, Arcia, and Jimmy Nelson rounding out the starting 9. That will face Homer Bailey. 2nd start since returning from the disabled list. He had surgery, Rock, in February to remove bone spurs on that surgically repaired right elbow. Excuse me.
Man, he's having a difficult time coming back. An inning and 2/3 against the Nationals. 8 runs in those inning and 2/3. He's only made 8 starts combined the last 2 years before this year. Has had a lot of problems. Tommy John surgery, bone chips, you name it.
Tommy John procedure was in May of 2015, so it missed the rest of that season, missed most of last season as well. Did make a start against the Brewers last year and actually pitched really well. He went 7 shutout innings in that game. But it has been a long road back for Homer Bailey. The Brewers are hoping to catch him still on the comeback trail and make this a short start for him today. Those in the know say that Bailey's pitch count is going to be closely monitored. The number's not out publicly, but you would imagine they're going to try to keep him around 60 to 70 pitches.
Yeah, that's where he was his first start. 61 pitches against Washington. And making career start number 23 against the Brewers. He's 5-8 against Milwaukee. ERA at about 4.5.
He's got VR 0-2. Jonathan back in the starting lineup after missing a couple of weeks with back spasms, lower back injury. Injured that back in a game in Arizona. Went through a minor league rehab setting in Appleton. Actually played in 4 games with the Midwest League affiliate of the Brewers, just an hour and a half up the road in Appleton, and swung the bat well. He was running well. Feels like he is 100%. And after a couple of days as a pinch hitter, including a base hit in the 9th inning as a pinch hitter last night, VR is back in the starting lineup.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Craig Counsell puts him back into the wheel. It's been Sogard at second base. He's done such a good job there, and as a leadoff hitter, Sogard getting today off.
1 ball, 2 strikes. VR began the season as the Brewers leadoff hitter and second baseman. The stolen base king from last year. There's a bouncer to second base, and that'll be the first out of the ball game, and that's how the day begins for Homer Bailey.
Well, to say the Reds defense has been good in this series would be a gross understatement. They've been tremendous. Your Menards Reds defense. Contra getting a start out in right field. Scott Schebler, he's not starting tonight. And Devin Mesoraco behind home plate, making his second start in the series.
Reds defense has been excellent so far. They've made a ton of plays, game-saving, run-saving type plays. Alcantara in there for Scott Schebler, who has made 2 fantastic catches, including maybe one of the best catches we've seen this year, taking a home run away from Stephen Vogt last night. Domingo Santana back in the 2 spot in the order. No Eric Sogard today, no Eric Thames. So a new 1-2 combo at the top of the batting order in front of Ryan Braun for this one against Bailey. Thames has been mired in a very long slump, and Craig Counsell giving him the day off. Might see Thames out tomorrow as well. We'll see.
Yeah, just to clear the head, sometimes that stuff snowballs on you, and you just can't get yourself out of it. You know, sitting on the bench, give him a different perspective, sit back, relax a little bit, and you never know, you might see him later on in the game as a pinch hitter.
Yeah, 4-man bench for the Brewers still. The Brewers have 9 available pitchers in their bullpen tonight, with Anderson on the disabled list. There's a bouncing ball. Scooter Gennett is over, and he'll make the play for out number 2. It's a big loss for the Brewers, with Chase Anderson going down. Not only had he emerged as the Brewers ace, he was 6th in the National League in earned run average, and those oblique injuries can be very difficult to come back from, especially for a pitcher. If you want to look at the bright side, though, let's say it's a 6 weeks injury, which obliques typically are, then you're talking about a pitcher that is going to have a fresh arm, might need a little buildup, but is going to have a fresh arm for a stretch run if the Brewers can hang in this pennant race. And today they open play 1 game up on the Cubs in first place. So that's the bright side. The downside is you're losing your best hurler.
Yeah, and he has been one of the best in the National League as of late. I mean, talking about becoming one of those guys that you can count on to give you innings and keep you in games. That's been Chase Anderson.
Well, the Brewers were without Ryan Braun for a good chunk of the season. He's only playing in his 32nd game of the year. He's battled the oblique injuries in the past. Braun just returning. This is his 3rd game back from the DL. His last game played was May 25th, until returning on Tuesday night here. He's been swinging the bat well. Homered last night, opposite field home run.
Just can't seem to get into full strength, right? I mean, you got Junior Guerra going on the disabled list. He comes back. Braun goes on the DL. Braun comes back, and now Anderson hits the disabled list.
Key figures in the Brewers 25-man big league roster as well. Your opening day starter, your best hitter, and the face of the franchise, and then what has emerged as your best pitcher. But through it all, The Brewers remain atop the standings despite being just 2 games over 500. There are only 5 teams in the National League with winning records right now. 5 of the 15 teams. Braun hammers one left field. On a line it goes, and it is up and out of here. Just clears. A bullet from Braun. It's a solo home run with 2 outs in the inning. And the Brewers strike first here tonight against Homer Bailey.
Yep, got the splitter and golfed it out of here off the foul pole in left field. Well, he hit it hard. He just dropped the head of the bat on it. Question was it going to be fair, but hits the foul pole, makes it an easy call. Check out these quick hands right here. That pitch was a hanger up and in, and Braun dings it right off that foul pole for a home run.
A line shot. Boy, that ball left the bat in a hurry. Back-to-back games for Braun with a homer now. Yeah, he's right back where he wants to be. That's number 9 for Ryan Braun. Playing in his 32nd game of the season.
We talk about a hanger, right? That splitter. That's not where you want to leave him. He threw a pretty good one earlier in that bat to Braun. Hung that last one.
Ryan Braun now with that home run now has the most home runs by an opposing player at Great American Ballpark. He's in some pretty hefty company as well. Lance Berkman, the great Houston Astros switch hitter, at 23 here. Albert Pujols, most of that coming as a member of the Cardinals, and now Braun in his 11th year in the big leagues with his 24th career home run in Cincinnati.
And he's not done yet. Got plenty of time left.
Speaking of home runs, Travis Shaw has hit homers in each of his last 3 games. He has a new career high in that category with 17. Been 2 close games in this series. The Brewers have had leads. They've let them slip away. Guerra did not pitch all that well in the first game. The Brewer starter had his worst outing as a Brewer in his 2 years. And yet the Brewers were able to erase a 4-0 deficit. The Reds won the game though with a late rally. And then yesterday a back and forth affair. Low scoring game, even with the Brewers having to pick up 8 innings from their bullpen, or actually 7 innings from their bullpen. There was no bottom of the ninth.
Yeah, 4-3 game last night.
3-2 the count. Shaw has been the Brewers' best run producer. And he takes a ball up and away. Bailey thought he had a called strike 3. Instead, it is ball 4, and the inning continues.
That looked like another splitter that just missed that outside corner. That's a pretty good pitch by Bailey. Didn't miss by much.
Bailey now in his 11th season.
He's only 30 years old. 11 years.
He was a first rounder by the Reds. Made it to the big leagues in 07. First rounder in 2004. Had a couple of great years, 13 and 14. He is the author of 2 no-hitters in the major leagues. No-hitter in 12, and then he did it again in 2013. Hasn't been the same kind of pitcher, and all of the injuries started to mount up, and they came to a head with the injured ligament in the elbow, the tendon, requiring the Tommy John surgery. Aguilar takes a ball low, 2-1. So this 3-year stretch, 2012 to 2014, that included the 2 no-hitters. He was one of the better pitchers in this division. Had a 3.61 ERA. Reds weren't winning a whole lot for him. So the record just slightly over 500, but he's hardly pitched since that Tommy John surgery in 2015.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting that, you know, a guy that throws a lot of splitters, it's tough on the elbow, coming off Tommy John, he still throws that pitch.
Swing and a miss. Aguilar chased one, and it's 2-2.
There is not a tougher pitch on the arm than the splitter.
Run is in for the Brewers. Braun is homered. Shaw with a 2-out walk, and now Aguilar, who has been the Brewers' best pinch hitter, getting a start today. And he hits one sharply to short, and the out at second base to make it easy. So the inning ends, but the Brewers strike. They do some damage in the first once again, and Ryan Braun, the former MVP, 24th career home run in this venue, his 9th of the year. Braun adds one more to the total. He homers to get the Brewers a 1-0 lead. There's Brian Price now in year 4 as the Cincinnati skipper. Reds come in with a record of 33-44, last in the division. Potawatomi batting order looks like this today for Price. Hamilton, Jeanette, Votto, that remains the same. Duvall, Suarez, and Mesoraco in the middle of the order, with Peraza, Alcantara, and Bailey rounding out the starting 9. Jimmy Nelson on the mound, coming off a rough start against the Atlanta Braves in the rain of SunTrust Park, and now back at it against Cincinnati.
Yeah, other than that, I mean, having a good month of June. His final start in June, he's 2-1, a 2.94 ERA in the month of June, making career start number 11 against Cincinnati. Currently a 4-3 record against the Reds.
This will be his 11th career start against the Cincinnati Reds, 13th game of his career against this ball club. That start he had against Cincinnati earlier in the year, it was a 5-1 Brewers win. That was back in April. First road trip through here, April 13th. Jimmy went 7 innings and 1 earned run. There's a strike to Hamilton. The speedster Billy Hamilton, who changed the game last night in the bottom of the 8th inning. He drew a leadoff walk against Corey Knebel, and his speed led to the game-winning run. Hamilton stole second base, able to go to third, and putting all kind of pressure on the Brewers defense. That was the ball of the at-bat. Then he stole second base, and then the pressure was really on. He went to third base. The Brewers didn't even bother with a throw, and then scored on this little infield hit.
Yeah, that's the last guy you want to walk to lead off the 9th or the 8th in the tie game. Billy Hamilton.
He leads the major leagues in stolen bases.
If there ever was a guy that you want to have hit their way on, it's this guy.
Hamilton has homered in this series, the first at bat of this series, as a matter of fact. He launched one out of here. That was against Junior Guerra. 2-2. Nelson gets him. A swing and a miss, goes up the ladder with a fastball and a strikeout to get his night started.
Now check out the Menards Brewers defense here for tonight. Then you got Braun in left, Perez in center, Santana in right, Shaw, Arce on the left, VR, Aguilar, a little different look on the right side. It's usually Sogard, Thames. Manny Pena back behind home plate. It was Stephen Vogt. Vogt made his first start as a Brewer, and Pena hanging the signs for Jimmy tonight.
Field and Colbreth, the crew chief, and the home plate umpire, Mark Carlson, Manny Gonzalez, and Chris Segal, the base umpires. Scooter Gennett thriving here as a member of the Cincinnati Reds. Drafted, signed by the Brewers, signed by terrific Brewer scout Tim McIlvaine. Brought to the big leagues and had a couple of good years with the Brewers, but always ended up in a platoon scenario at second base. And he's getting a chance to play every day right now. He's been fantastic in the month of June. How about that? He's hit 9 homers. 4 of those came in 1 game. 317 average and OPS over 1,000.
Yeah, driving in runs. Doing a good job at second base. I mean, we've been talking about this defense for the Reds. One of the best defensive teams. Scooter Gennett's made some nice plays in this series.
Never known as a plus defender. He's very good on pop-ups and has pretty good range. Does not have a great arm. But yeah, he's made a couple of beauties in this one. And he's been hitting. Gennett sends that one deep into right field. That ball has got a chance. It is hugging the line, and it is just foul. Looked like it was going to be well foul, but there must be a little bit of wind pushing it back toward the foul pole, because that was closer than I thought.
Sometimes in these stadiums, you know, these 4-deck stadiums, they wrap around from line to line. Tough to determine how the wind is affecting the flight of the baseball. It's not always the way the flags are blowing. Flags are blowing out the left, though.
1-2 the count. And he got a breaking ball from Nelson. Gennett strikes out, back-to-back Ks. And a good start for Nelson as he faces Joey Votto.
Got him on a slider in off the plate. Yeah, Jimmy's been throwing the slider and the curveball as of late. Another strikeout. Boy, his walk to strikeout ratio in June has been terrific. You know, 1 walk to every 5 strikeouts for Jimmy.
Nelson has 39 punch-outs in June, make it 41 now in his final start in the month. He's only walked 8. 3 of those came in his last start. He had back-to-back outings where he did not walk a batter. His last start in May and his first start in June, and he struck out a combined 21 without issuing a walk. What a stretch for him.
Yeah. Hey, good command of the fastball, 4-seamer, 2-seamer. He's been getting ground ball outs. That's going to be important tonight in this ballpark, particularly if the wind is in fact pushing the ball out to left field.
Joey Votto with 2 away, riding that high fastball. Votto has such great plate discipline. He's just one of those special hitters that will not chase. It's news when he does.
And he will swing 3-0 in these spots, so you got to watch out.
Chokes up on the bat, and he takes all the way, and he walks on 4 pitches. So Votto continues to push his way near the top of the National League in on-base percentage. He's top 5 in that category. He walks a lot. And with 2 outs and a man on, here comes Adam Duvall.
Seemed like Jimmy didn't want any part of him. Go after the right-hander.
Now the Reds can hit. This is a ball club that is suited for a pennant chase offensively. Their starting pitching is to be desired right now, but their bullpen's good, their defense is excellent, and their offense is formidable. So you got to typically score some runs to beat the Reds.
And you got to do it early, really. I mean, their starting rotation has an earned run average of 6.2. Not very good, worse than baseball.
And they have given up 129 home runs, the Reds pitching staff, in just 77 games. But their offense can make up for some of that damage. Matter of fact, the Reds with 111 homers in the 76 games are currently 4th in the National League in homers as a team. They are on a pace to set a franchise record for home runs, currently held by the 2005 Reds. So the Reds record is 222. That actually included an extra game, a tiebreaker game on it. So they played 163 games that season. Reds have already hit 111. They're halfway home. Slightly fewer games at the halfway mark. And this guy's a big part of it. Adam Duvall's hit 18 home runs, 54 driven in. Duvall's hit 2 long balls in this series. In on his hands, a foul ball.
When the Brewers saw the Reds and Duvall early in the season, Duvall just couldn't buy a hit. The Brewers came in here in April. The Reds were red hot, off to a great start. Everybody's swinging the bats, and the Brewers cooled them off. If you keep the ball in the ballpark against this team, you have a pretty good chance of beating them.
One and two the count. 2 outs in the inning. Votto's at first. And Nelson deals, and a line shot right at VR, who is over on the shift. A comebacker and a hot one at that. Nelson scampers out of the way. Ends up as a scoreless first inning. Brewers lead 1-0.
Ryan Braun's home run gives the Crew a 1-0 lead. Our scoops from the clubhouse brought to you by Car Soup with manager Craig Counsell saying just a day off for Eric Thames. He struck out 4 times last night, 0 for 8 on the series, and on the road trip hitting just 2 for 20. So he said it's just a day off for him, not think about 4 at-bats in front of you for the day, maybe get a different perspective, generate some different ideas. And he said just in slumps in general, he says what's difficult to assess is, you know, when you figure it out once you get out of it. So he says if we have the answers now, you feel like you put yourself in a much better position to produce. So he says that's what the hard part is. When you're frustrating, you think you're swinging at the right pitch, you're fouling it off, you get into a deeper hole.
Yeah, and it's probably a good thing for Eric Thames to recognize that, understand that. A lot of guys would try to grind their way through, and I think Thames was looking for the release valve, and Craig Counsell, who has been through the rigors of many major league seasons, understands that part as well, and probably time to take a day off. And it was interesting listening to Counsell today, and he twice he had mentioned that a couple of days. He mentioned a couple of days.
Yeah.
Now, Miami originally had a left-handed starter on the mound for tomorrow's game. That has been changed. Edinson Volquez is going to start tomorrow for the Miami Marlins against the Brewers at Miller Park. So you don't know if that'll change the thought pattern or not of the manager.
Well, you could tell that Eric was grinding up there because he was swinging at pitches that he normally doesn't swing at, being over aggressive, maybe pressuring himself a little bit too much, and that's certainly a sign that you want to give a guy a day off. You know, pitch selection, not necessarily pitch, but pitch selection, and especially with 2 strikes.
Manny Pena leading off for the Brewers, and check it, batting second in this inning for the Brewers, and he sends one into right center field. That's got some legs on it, and Pena is going to fly one out of here. Manny Pineapple coming up with another home run, gives the Brewers a 2-0 lead. Pena with his 6th of the season, an opposite field home run. What a great surprise he has been for the Brewers this year.
Man, no kidding. I knew you were going to get good defense out of Manny coming into spring training, but you had no idea you were going to get this kind of run production. And slider up in the zone, out over the plate, and he didn't try to pull it. Drives it out of here to right center. Hey, play the ballpark. Ballpark plays small. Get it up in the air, see what happens. And Manny able to knock one out of here. So a couple of solo shots for the Brewers tonight.
Here's Arcia, big swing and a miss at Bailey's first offering. Manny Pena now with 6 homers, 22 runs batted in. He and Stephen Vogt will be sharing the catching duties, but you figure Pena is going to get the majority of the starts. It'll be on about a 3-2 run, you would imagine, maybe a 4-1, depending on how Pena's swinging the bat. Stephen Vogt got the start last night. He actually swung the bat very well.
Maybe a couple of days a week for Vogt. Certainly against left-handers, it's going to be Pena, left-handed pitchers.
Bailey deals to Arcia, and he takes a ball down and in.
Yeah, no sense in really disrupting what Manny Pena's got going on. He's not playing every day, and it's been working out well for him. What do you have, a stretch? He caught what, 4 or 5 days in a row?
Caught 4 in a row, and he caught 9 out of 10. Little half swing right back to the mound, and Bailey will take care of Arcia for the 2nd out. So 2 gone. Here comes Jimmy Nelson. And every time a Brewer pitcher is at the plate, you're going to be a little bit anxious after what we saw last night with Chase Anderson up there in the 2nd inning. Chase pitched a scoreless 1st inning on 8 pitches, had a strikeout, and he said after the game, it looks like it's going to be a good night. My arm feels great. And in his at-bat, his first at-bat, which came in this scenario yesterday, 2nd inning with 2 outs, he said he did it on the first swing he had, and then he tried to just foul off a pitch on the strikeout swing and said he felt like somebody stabbed him.
Yeah. Left
oblique injury.
I talked to him in the clubhouse, before batting practice. I went up to him and said, "Too bad we don't have the DH over." He said, "No, I don't want it. I like to hit." I said, "Really?" He has been swinging the bat all right, but that's what did him in. Interesting that the 2 starters for the Brewers to go on the disabled list because of offense.
That's right. Junior Guerra injured his calf while bunting in his opening day start, and Anderson with that swing and a miss. It'll be a long road back for him. The most important thing the athletic training staff will do, and the physical therapist will try to keep the arm healthy. As Nelson strikes out, that'll do it for the Brewers in the 2nd, but they have hit solo homers in each of the first 2 innings, and the Pineapple Express is back on track. Manny Pena goes deep. 2-0 Brew Crew as we go to the home 2nd. Milwaukee Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Charlie Hustle, that is a great statue. They have a really cool area outside the ballpark here with the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame, and there's the statue of Pete Rose, and that's how you remember Pete Rose, with the belly flop, headfirst dive. Brewers 2-0 over the Reds as we head to the bottom of the second inning on this Thursday night in Cincinnati. Jimmy Nelson back to work. He made the final out in the top of this inning, taking a little extra time to get ready. Nelson with 2 strikeouts in the first. He walked Votto and then got Duvall on a line drive out to second base. Eugenio Suarez will lead off for Cincinnati. Has a homer in this series. He went deep to the opposite field in game 1 Tuesday.
It looks like Fielding Culver has given the pitchers that high strike tonight.
It's a good sign for Jimmy Nelson, who's been using the top half of the strike zone effectively this year. That's been a tweak in his arsenal. There's another high fastball.
Yep, same spot.
Rock always talks about the pairing of pitches, and Nelson, who's been a sinker baller and a ground baller, power sinker, but he does have a very good curveball and now has a fastball to go with that curveball.
Yep, high fastballs with the big curveball, good combination.
And the 1-2, that's a breaking ball hit hard into right field. Santana is there. Suarez is out. 1 away in the second.
Hey, kick off 4th of July weekend in style by heading to the ballpark for the Brewers' Friday night showdown with the Marlins. That's tomorrow night at 7 o'clock because it's a 5-county Friday. All residents of the 5-county area save 50% on tickets. Great seats are still available at brewers.com.
One gone for Reds catcher Devin Mesoraco. A Bailey Mesoraco battery tonight. Reds fans haven't seen much of that the last few years.
They haven't. Neither one of them have played much.
Mesoraco with shoulder surgery last year, his non-throwing shoulder, left shoulder, and then while he was out, a couple of months after the shoulder surgery, knowing he was going to be on the DL for a good while, went ahead and had hip surgery as well. Labrums in both cases. The labrum in the shoulder and the labrum in the hip.
Truly a new man.
He's got 2 new labrums. 2 old ones, 2 new ones. Are your labrums still intact?
I believe so.
You do have that zipper on the elbow, though.
It wasn't a full-blown Tommy John. They had to just tighten the ligament. It didn't, rip off.
That sounds awful.
It was getting there.
1-2 the count. Fastball high. So they just, what they do, they went in there and there's like a piece of spaghetti and they just tightened it up.
Just drilled holes on either side of the elbow joint.
So getting a little nauseous now.
Tightened it up. I was asleep for it.
Putting me to sleep for it right now. 2-2. Nelson delivers and a swing and a miss. He struck him out with a slider. There's a good breaking ball by Nelson. And the 3rd strikeout for Jimmy.
Yep, off the plate at 89 miles an hour. Mesoraco not even close. That was never a strike.
So 2 men are out. Jose Peraza at the plate. He's been filling in for Zach Cozart. Cozart took batting practice today. He is the National League leader at the shortstop position for All-Star voting. It's been quite a coup for the Cincinnati Reds that Cozart has gotten more votes than Corey Seager, who was the Rookie of the Year last year.
Right.
And Cozart deserves it. He's had a great year.
And when you consider, you know, Seager in L.A., would they draw $3 million a year? You figure that you know, they would. Of course, it's all internet voting these days.
Nelson has Peraza in a 1-1 count, and a big bender misses. Cozart truly is one of the terrific shortstops in the game. This is a golden era of shortstops, and the last release of the voting, don't forget voting ends tonight at 10:59 in the Central Time Zone. You still have some time if you want to vote, but it ends tonight. Cozart is trying to come back from a hamstring injury, and you know he'd like to participate in that All-Star game. He's a good one. He hits for power. He's a great glove. Having his best year. On the ground, right to Arcia. Nice easy hop for him. And a good throw is in time, and Jimmy Nelson with a 1-2-3 second inning. 2-0 Brew Crew. We head to the third. Cincinnati tonight, 2-0 Crew. Don't forget, this weekend we have a full lineup of Brewers baseball for you on Fox Sports Wisconsin and FS1. Tomorrow night, Brewers face the Marlins on FS Wisconsin, and then coverage begins at 6:30 p.m. with Brewers Live presented by Ascension. And then on Saturday, the action moves over to FS1. 2:30 p.m. is airtime for that. Sunday, the series wraps up back here on Fox Sports Wisconsin beginning at 12:30. So now you know. Friday, Sunday right here, Saturday on FS1. Jonathan Villar leads off for the Brewers. He is the leadoff hitter tonight. Grounded out his first time up. And he'll start it anew here in the third. Villar, Santana, and Braun. Braun and Pena have both homered in this game. Important stretch here for Villar coming back from the injury. Sogard has taken over the everyday duties at second base.
When you think about the Brewers offense, they've been doing it this year in large part without Villar. I mean, you remember how important he was to the offense as a group, and his ability to get on base and make things happen on the bases, driving in runs, hitting the home runs, and he hasn't been able to do that this year. Not yet anyway, but the Brewers continue to score runs. Ryan Braun's been out for an extended period of time, and I think the guys have done a good job.
Braun and Villar coming back together. They were in the same wheel of their rehab. Both went to Appleton together as well. So you got not just one big leaguer down in the Midwest League, you got two.
Brewers 5th in the National League in runs scored, 3rd in homers, and VR really hadn't gotten going. Ryan Braun's missed a lot of time, and for those two reasons, it's pretty impressive what these guys have done at the plate.
Full count to VR. Fights that one off foul. I was talking to Ryan Braun the other day. We were asking him about when he went down to Single A for the rehab, he and VR together, who picked up the spreads, who bought the meals, and Braun said, I got it. I got it covered. VR hadn't gotten a contract, the big contract. Of course, Braun has the monster deal, multi-year deal, and he took care of it all. He said, yeah, we set him up real nice. We got him a couple of great meals while we were down there, and kids enjoyed it. Braun had a lot of good things to say about the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers manager, Matt Erickson. Really likes the way he runs a game, and said he enjoyed his time down there. He had not played in a minor league game since 2007. What a difference 11 years makes.
Yeah, and he couldn't say enough good things about the fans in Appleton too.
There's a drive into deep right center field. Hamilton's on the run. VR sends one out. Another solo home run, this time by Jonathan VR. And it is 3-0 Milwaukee. Number 7 for VR. Boy, that ball was a smash into right center.
I just had that sound. You knew it was going to have a chance. Kind of dropped in the second row out there. And fastball right down the middle, and Jonathan VR able to barrel it up. Nice easy swing, not overswing at all. On a center cut fastball, knocks it out of here. 3-0 Brewers. Just out of the reach of Hamilton.
And now Santana gets hit by a pitch. Got him right on the hand. So the next pitch, Bailey fires one inside on Santana. He's drilled. Taking his time, Santana. That one stung him a little bit.
That fastball looked like it didn't hit him on the hand, on the forearm a little bit. Ooh, yeah.
Now Bailey, in his first start since coming back from the DL last time, gave up 8 earned runs. He was not around long. So here is Braun now in a swing and a miss. These two have been matching up against one another for a long time. They actually arrived in the big leagues the same year, Braun and Bailey, 2007. Ryan Braun has 41 career plate appearances against Homer Bailey. He is now 13 for 38 at the plate with 3 homers. Just hit his 3rd home run off Bailey in the first inning.
And no surprises between the two, but Bailey's a lot different right now than he was when he was at the top of his game. I mean, his cruising speed was 96 miles an hour, that nasty splitter. Yeah, much different now, not throwing as hard, and the splitter doesn't have the same action.
No balls and a strike, and Braun hits it into center field. Coming in, Hamilton. He's got it for the out. Santana will retreat. Little soft liner into center field for out number 1. And so here comes Travis Shaw. He's homered in 3 consecutive games. He is certainly all-star worthy. He's going to have a strong finish before the all-star break, but he's putting one together right now. 3 homers in 3 games. They've been big home runs. He had that tape measure shot in Atlanta, which went up on the roof of the burger joint in right field. It's one of the longest he's hit this year.
Yeah, he's something. You give him a pitch down and in, look out. He's going to put a good swing on it. A lot of his home runs have been pitches down and in. But has plenty of power, particularly in this ballpark, to hit him out to left.
His dad, Jeff, played here in Cincinnati, was a closer. The Shaws are from Ohio. His dad Jeff, 20 years ago, 1997, led the National League in saves with 42 that season as a member of the Reds. Saw Travis having a long conversation with Jeff Brantley, who does Reds radio now with the Hall of Famer Marty Brennaman. And Jeff Brantley and Jeff Shaw were teammates and very good friends, and feels like home here for Travis Shaw. He's from the Columbus area, not too far from Cincinnati. He's got some family in the ballpark tonight in this series.
It's always important to, play well in front of family and friends. That puts a little extra pressure on you. Maybe a few more demands of your free time before you go to the ballpark. You really have to manage that as best you can. Everybody wants a piece of you when you're in the big leagues.
2-1, and Shaw rips one foul. Good play, kid.
That's that down and in right there. Look out. You put it down there.
That home run he hit Tuesday night here, a down and in fastball, and if you just stop the image right before contact, you would not think the ball would end up in the seats for a 3-run homer. He tucked those hands in and dropped the bad head and drilled one out of here. Impressive piece of hitting by Shaw.
Yeah, against a lefty.
Not even sure the pitch was a strike, or would have been called a strike, let's say. Two the count to Travis. Walked his first time up. Went down and in, and he swings, unable to check it. And Shaw is out. That's the second strikeout for Homer Bailey. 2 outs in the inning now.
Well, didn't mean to. Tried to hold up. Yeah, he went. Good call down there by Chris Segal, and he did go.
And that'll give Jesus Aguilar an at-bat here in this third inning with a runner at first. Inning started with a VR home run. Now Aguilar down the right field line. It is slicing. Alcantara on the run, and it buries at the base of the wall. Coming around to score is Santana. It'll be an RBI double for Aguilar.
Now this might be one of those you're going to take a look at. This might be one of those ground rule double, got caught under the pad. I think that the Reds are going to take a look at it. Remember that happened earlier this year. Cost the Brewers a run, and a big one at that. That was at home, I believe. There you go in, you dig it out, and then the umpires maybe take a look at it to see if the ball was caught under the pad. Well, this is a pretty good piece of hitting by Aguilar on a pitch down. Slices it down that right field. Now is it caught underneath that pad? Alcantara goes after it, and by the time he gets it in, it's too late to get Santana.
Well, this is reviewable. You can take this to a challenge, and I'm not sure it'll be an official challenge from Price. Typically the crew chief can go to the grounds rules review, if you will, or the crew chief review is what it would be called. But you can clarify the ground rules. Craig Counsell already shaking his head as if he knows the outcome of this.
Yeah. It looked like it was caught underneath that pad. You have to play it. It does not mean that, it's a live ball. The umpires can go back. Right here, you can see it gets caught right underneath that pad. That's some bad luck for the Brewers and Aguilar. And we'll see what the umpires say. It did take Alcantara a little bit extra time to dig it out.
This will be the difference in a run or not. If it's in the pad, it is going to be a ground rule double, and I doubt they would score Santana. This will be interesting, though.
It was close.
It was close, and they have the angle to show the runner where he was, where to place runners. Certainly Aguilar is going to end up at second regardless.
It's a double for him. The question is, does he get an RBI? Or was it under the pad, or was it just outside the pad?
So the crew chief, Field and Colbert, is over there with the calling umpire, Mark Carlson, the first base umpire.
I guess the longer this takes, the better it looks for the Brewers. Right there now, is it under the pad or is it just kind of laying there outside the pad? Doesn't look like he had to really dig it out at all. It's a tough one.
I remember Prince Fielder had an inside the park home run at Miller Park one year on a play similar to that against the Blue Jays one year. Alex Rios went over and he did not field the ball like Alcantara did. He just raised his hands, and the ground rule at Miller Park is that you have to go dig it out.
Right.
And Fielder just kept on running, and no replay back then, so it was scored as an inside the Parker.
It didn't look like it was lodged underneath that pad. I think that's what they're looking at in New York, and the longer this goes, the better it is for Milwaukee, because at first glance it looked like it was under the pad, but does he actually dig it out? Is it stuck under there? I don't think it is. That's just a bad break all the way around. It hits into that seam, which deadens it, and it just lays there. I don't think that was wedged underneath that padding.
Now waiting on a ruling from the replay review center in New York. And here comes the call, and safe.
Well, not.
And they're going to score the runner.
Yeah, good. Yep.
Okay, so no overturn. It's not a challenge, by the way.
Yeah, so apparently in New York they determined that it wasn't lodged underneath the pad.
And now Brian Price wants an explanation.
Well, you can't argue this. And Field and Colbert did not make that call on the review. He's giving Field and Colbert a long leash here.
Colbert is being very patient with Brian Price. And so, by the way, just for clarification, this was an official challenge by the Reds manager. And so he'll lose his challenge the rest of the game. So there's a little more at stake. And now Colbert has just thrown out Brian Price.
Yeah, no, he got to. You just can't stand there and argue all that time.
You cannot argue.
That ball was not lodged underneath that padding, just sitting there. That last angle that we saw showed there was a lot of space between the baseball and the pad.
And you can't argue replays. They'll give you a little leeway. Colbert certainly was, but finally throws him out because, and I think he was warning him that, look, we can't stand here and argue. I'm going to have to throw you out. And he did very calmly, as a matter of fact.
This is what replay is supposed to avoid. I'm not sure. I don't mind the arguments. It's kind of a passive argument at that.
That was very civil argument.
I mean, there's no dirt kicking or none of that. Hat flying around, and it's one of the things I think a lot of fans miss in baseball. It was actually a very kind heave-ho too. Threw him out in a kind of a polite way.
All right, so that'll be an RBI double for Aguilar. It's 4-0 Brewers. The Reds manager has been thrown out here in the third inning, and here is Hernan Perez. Second ejection of the season for Brian Price. The 11th of his career. And Perez into center field, a base hit. Aguilar is going to try to score. Here comes a throw from Hamilton. Aguilar's coming in, will step on the plate as the throw gets away. The big man barreling in on the catcher, Mesoraco. Could not handle the short hop, and that'll be an RBI single for Perez. He goes to second on the throw, and it's 5-0 Brewers.
And another good at bat for Hernan Perez. Wow, takes this one right back into center field on a slider. And Hamilton has this baseball before Aguilar gets to third base. He doesn't have much of a throwing arm, and to make matters worse, he gave Mesoraco a very difficult hop. Either give him a long hop or a short hop. That was in between and very difficult to handle. Another run in for the Brewers.
If Mesorakos takes a couple of steps up and catches that in the air, he's going to have an out. But the footsteps of Aguilar as Perez takes off, and Bailey paying no attention to him. He steals third base. 5-0 Brewers. Runner at third with 2 outs. And Manny Pena at the plate, who homered his last time up. 8 stolen base for Perez. Brewers trying to keep the pressure on.
Hernan Perez had about 4 or 5 steps before Bailey ever got rid of that baseball. Completely forgot about him.
One ball, one strike. Missed inside. He is a shell of his former self, Homer Bailey. You know, just there's no crispness to his stuff. He's throwing 90, 91 miles an hour.
I think he's topped out at 93, maybe a couple of times. He's maybe thrown one faster, but I don't remember it.
This is a guy who has 2 no-hitters in his career.
I'm talking about a guy that used to be cruising speed to be about 96.
Looked like a splitter right there, huh? And a swing and a miss by Pena.
Man, the splitter was in the upper 80s, low 90s. Makes such a big difference.
Well, he's 2 years removed from Tommy John surgery, but did have the elbow cleanup, the bone spurs, last February. And that's why he's been on the disabled list to start the year. He's just back. This is only his second start in the big leagues, and neither have gone well for Homer Bailey. Bailey made 3 rehab starts in the minor leagues. He actually pitched well down there. But in his start against Washington last Saturday, went an inning and 2/3 with 8 earned runs. Two the count. Perez at third. And Pena stays alive.
You see that split-fingered fastball, you know, coming in very slow. I mean, you throw that ball in the upper 80s, low 90s. I mean, it has that late break to it. It's very deceiving to the hitter, but you know, the earlier the break, the better for a hitter. It doesn't have much on it, and telegraphs it very early.
Do it again, another 2-2. And Pena fights another one off. Right to Arcia. Man, even when he's on deck, he makes great plays.
Doesn't even need a glove.
He caught that ball with his left hand, his glove hand. He just calmly reached over and caught it. He is something else.
Yeah.
That guy. Most guys jump out of the way. He just puts his hand up there. Pitch number 9 of the at-bat coming. And it's outside, ball 3. Bailey is grinding 28 pitches in this inning. He does have 2 men out, but the Brewers have scored 3. He's hit a batter. He's given up 3 hits.
And he's already over that 60 pitch count limit.
So the count is full. 10th pitch. And Pena lines one foul. Hey, there's a good catch. Everybody's making plays. The fans, the on-deck hitter. Giving it to a kid. It's good fandom right there. Well done, sir.
Yeah.
Now, is the kid going to let his sister hold the ball for a minute?
No
That's
chance.
the big question.
No chance.
Back inside. 3-2 pitch coming. And a bouncing ball that is going to get through. A base hit. RBI single by Manny Pena. What a terrific at bat that was. And the Brewers now lead it 6-0.
Yep, after a steady diet of split-fingered fastballs. Went with the fastball. Got too much of the plate and able to find a hole in the left field. Another RBI. Some 2-out hitting for the Brewers. Coming up big. 3 consecutive hits with 2 outs, all plating runs. That was an 11 pitch at bat for Manny Pena. A lot of them splitters.
Having a good game. Manny Pena with 2 RBIs, a homer and a single. And it'll be Arcia now. Still 2 outs in the inning. That's kind of at bat that can take a lot out of a starting pitcher, and the Reds will have to make a decision how quickly they're going to go into their bullpen, because we were told that Bailey won't be allowed to be out there much longer than 75 pitches max. And already the bullpen is active. Kevin Shackelford gets loose.
Well, just like the Brewers, the Reds have 9 pitchers in their bullpen tonight.
So it's Arcia now. And that gets by Mesoraco. Pena to second base. And it is all going bad here for the Cincinnati Reds tonight.
Yep, 70 pitches now for Homer Bailey, and that was a splitter that got right between the legs of Mesoraco.
Now they're going to go ahead and walk Arcia intentionally, which will bring up Jimmy Nelson. Brewers batting around in this 3rd inning. Brewers lost the first 2 games in Atlanta to start this road trip, and then won 7-0 in the finale Sunday. They're looking for a rinse and repeat here today. Up 6-0 on 6 hits, and we're only in the 3rd inning. 2 outs for Nelson. Ground ball to Jeanette, and that will retire the side. Good inning for the Brew Crew. They score 4 times. Starts with a Jonathan Villar homer. And then Jesus Aguilar delivers with 2 outs, a double and an RBI. 2 more runs come in, and the Brewers are up 6-0. call there, Jeff, and thank you for bringing that up, because as a World War II veteran and so many players in that era served our country, and we have a special event coming up where the Brewers are going to recognize honor flight veterans. Many participated in the Korean War and World War II and Vietnam, of course. There's a big list of former servicemen that are coming back that are going to be taking the honor flight. I know, Rock, you're going to be part of that honor flight in November. Tuesday, July 4th, we're going to welcome the honor flight veterans to Miller Park. That's always a great time.
Yeah, we owe them a big debt. We can never repay it, but our small way of recognizing them. Good job by the Brewers organization. Now, I and my wife Kate are going on that honor flight in November, and Jacob Barnes, Brewers reliever, is going to be going.
That's a great cause. Say hi to our friend Karen Relke, who handles the PR for the honor flight. Does a great job with that. Very touching moments. If you've never been to one, make it a point to take your family to Mitchell Airport when the honor flight returns. It's a one-day trip. They go up in the morning, come back in the evening, and the airport is always packed. Thousands of people. It's like a big parade, and the faces on the veterans as they recognize what's happening, you will remember the rest of your lives.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
By the way, the Brewers are going to wear special personalized jerseys during batting practice to recognize the honor flight veterans. So that's all coming up on the 4th of July, Tuesday. Nelson back to work with a 6-0 lead now as Alcantara leads off for Cincinnati. And a swing and a miss, and Nelson is racking up the Ks. That's number 4.
And a fastball 95 miles an hour up in the zone. He's getting a lot of mileage out of that high fastball tonight.
Only blemish on Nelson's line tonight has been a walk. He walked Joey Votto in the first inning. 4 strikeouts. And he'll face the pitcher Homer Bailey now.
Or I should say the Reds only have a 4-man bench, so even if Bailey's not going to be coming out for the next inning, looks like Brian Price, or at least the Reds, they do not want to use a pinch hitter quite yet.
Might need him with a 4-man bench. No balls and a strike, and Bailey a swing and a miss. 0-2 the count. Brewers had a play very similar to that. Rock referenced that against the Giants at Miller Park when the ball got wedged in the padding. And at that point, the ruling on the field was that as Bailey bounces to Nelson, easy enough for him. That's out number 2. So it was also Jesus Aguilar at the plate. And this was the scene as Aguilar hammered one down the left field line. Now watch this. It gets stuck in the padding, and it was immediately called by the umpire as a ground rule double. And the ground rule at Miller Park is not that. That's not what it has been. Normally you have to go play that, but it was called immediately, and so counsel challenged that. It was not overturned.
Right.
The ruling was upheld.
And
so it took a run off the board.
Yeah, you got to make the play. You got to play it through, and then they decide, what to do about it at the end.
This scenario, the ball went underneath the fence. Alcantara played it from out of the fence. It was not called a dead ball, and then they went and looked at it and decided the call was accurate.
It wasn't lodged under the pad.
Right.
That was the difference.
Back up the middle. Arcia in and out of his hands quickly. Makes it look easy, taking care of the speedy Bill Hamilton. Wow. Orlando Arcia turns in another beauty. 1-2-3 inning for Nelson. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. By Hupy and Abraham, voted best, rated best. Hupy and Abraham, tell them you mean business. And by Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Some friends from the Cincinnati Zoo here tonight. Hey, buddy. Good to have those guys here. We had a lot of fun with them earlier today. Sophia especially had some fun with some of the zoo animals that arrived in. And by the way, I don't know if you like snakes or not, but check out Sophia here. She's like, look, oh my gosh.
You know what? That's cruel.
You can't do that. You cannot do that.
Yeah. You know, at what time of the day was that pig paraded around the warning track? Because they had pork in the press room today.
Come on, man. All right, Rock, this is Kevin Shackelford making his major league debut here tonight.
Yeah, he got called up on Tuesday and made 27 relief appearances down in AAA. Shackelford is the 10th different Reds pitcher, or I should say player, to make his major league debut this year.
He is the 24th pitcher used by the Reds this season. And you would imagine he has the nerves on edge right now, facing Jonathan Villar to start it. And a little half swing. Villar asking for his own appeal. That was a strike anyway.
Yeah, they had an eagle flying around during the national anthem.
Yeah.
And
well, that was cool.
Yeah, that was. Love that.
Right at the end of the anthem, the eagle soared around the stadium, and then he came right back to his master, landed on his arm. I mean, it was perfect timing. Beautiful. He was blowing a little whistle to get him to come back.
Right. Beautiful birds.
Kevin Shackelford. He's got Villar in a 1-2 count and a ball down and in. 2-2 the count. Never forget your first time in the major leagues. Shackelford, 28-year-old, and now Villar sends one deep to right, and it's going to be a multi-home run game for Jonathan Villar. Back-to-back at-bats with long balls for Villar, and the Brewers are now up 7-0. His 8th home run of the season. He is having a night. His last 4 at-bats, he has 3 hits, including these 2 homers.
Yeah, got a pitch in on him and was able to center on it. Watch him pull the hands in here on this replay. Opens up the hips and drives that one out of here. Look at that breaking ball that was in on him and golfed it out of here. And Shackelford will never forget his first major league hitter that he faced.
3rd career multi-homer game for Villar. And Santana with a swing and a miss. Yep. Well, the ball flies here, and Villar has found the 3rd row.
Man, good for him.
Had a multi-homer game against the Rangers last year at the end of the season. Has one here tonight. Is Santana with a swing and a miss, and there's Shackelford's first strikeout in his big league career.
Hey, class up your home decor with the Brewers wall flag, which you get by heading to Miller Park this Saturday. The Brewers and the Marlins face off at 3 o'clock. And the first 10,000 fans 21 and older will get a Brewers wall flag courtesy of Miller Lite. Great seats are still available at brewers.com.
Here's Ryan Braun now with one away. Shackelford finally getting a chance to pitch in the big leagues at age 28 after 8 minor league seasons. Shackelford was in the Brewers organization until 2015. His first 5 years were in the Milwaukee system. Made it as high as Double-A with the Brewers. He had been a closer actually in the Brewers minor league system. Braun back up the middle and a base hit. Ryan Braun with 2 hits today. Now a single to go along with a home run. Well, the Brewers are swinging the bats here tonight. 7 runs in on 8 hits. We're only in the 4th inning.
And some top spin on that ground ball back through the middle. Fastball from Shackelford, and well, it doesn't take him to get back in the groove. Doesn't take him very long, does it? Ryan Braun missed 5 weeks and coming out swinging.
And he's obviously feeling good. That left calf is healed because he's back in there for a 3rd straight game. Travis Shaw now, and he swings at the first pitch. A base hit. Clean single for Shaw. 1st and 2nd with 1 out, and the 3rd hit of the inning. Travis all smiles. This guy just keeps on raking at the plate.
And another fastball. Shackelford, pretty straight fastball out over the plate. And even with the shift, bounces off the pitcher's mound and into center field. Shackelford was a closer at Louisville this year. They converted 11 of 12.
Big strikeout numbers down there. 46 strikeouts in 35 innings. Played his college ball at Marshall and was drafted by the Brewers in 2010. Jesus Aguilar now takes a strike. After your 6th year in the minor leagues, you become a free agent if you do not make it to the big league. So it's there to protect the player. Back in the old days, organizations would just keep players in the minor leagues in their system for as long as they needed them. And so that was developed to try to create a little player movement and allow a player to get out of a contract with a team and go pursue another organization. So they call it a 6-year minor league free agent, and that's how Shackelford went from the Brewers to the Reds. This was his 3rd season in the Reds minor league system. It's been a long road for him.
Yeah, they finally made it.
Yeah, he's made it. Doesn't matter what he does today. I mean, he wants to pitch well, but a tremendous accomplishment just to make it this far. It's from Charlotte, North Carolina. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Aguilar. Now with all this offense, now the story really turns to Jimmy Nelson on the mound, who's gone the first 3 innings without allowing a hit. He has 4 strikeouts. He's only walked 1 batter. He has been on top of his game.
Well, that was a big inning, that bottom of the 3rd, after the Brewers stretched their lead.
2 on, 1 away. Aguilar fouls it back. Braun and Shaw with singles. Two and two now. Jesus has had a hard time breaking into the starting lineup with Thames in there most nights. Might see Jesus tonight and tomorrow.
Hey, give him some playing time. Give Thames an opportunity to just kind of take the pressure off a little bit. Sometimes that does a world of good for a struggling hitter.
That ball's hammered center field. That's way back. That's got a chance, and it is gone. A home run. Jesus Aguilar with a 3-run homer. And the Brewers keep it going here in Cincinnati. 3 more runs are in on Aguilar's center field home run, number 7 of the year for Jesus. It's a 4-run inning in the 4th.
Yep, and Aguilar went out with 4 RBIs today, making a case for maybe getting another start tomorrow. A slider from Shackelford right down the middle of the plate. Gives you an idea how strong Aguilar is. I mean, just a nice, easy swing, knocks it out of here in center field. 10-0 in the fourth.
Left the bat at 100 miles an hour. A 2-strike home run to center field by Aguilar.
And just a nice, easy swing. Took the top hand off at contact, and just to keep that bat as level as he could, still able to get it out of here to center field.
Home runs are flying tonight for the Brewers. That is their 5th, which is a season high. Braun, Pena, VR twice, and now Aguilar. And there's the second out of the inning, a strikeout to Perez.
How many home runs now in this ballpark? Man, we showed that graphic first game of the series.
They were bring that back. Yeah, they were 5th most allowed in this ballpark. 6 fewer games, though.
There have been a ton hit in this series.
At the plate, presented by Wendy's, Manny Pena. He is 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs, including a home run. There have been 16 home runs hit in this series.
Well, they have 115 coming in. Home runs in this ballpark.
That was all the way back on Tuesday night, Rock. And
that's what I'm saying.
You're asking me to remember things.
No, not you.
Are way, way gone.
We have number crunchers, you know.
It's disappeared. It's been bulked out of my mind for all you old radio folks out there. Well, the home runs are flying. 5-9 by the Brewers, a season high. VR for the second time, and then Aguilar, a 3-run blast to center. 10-0 Brew Crew.
Limited baseball break brought to you by T-Mobile. For the Braves, they have designated 44-year-old Bartolo Colon for assignment. He struggled mightily, went just 2-8. The earned run average 8.14 in 13 starts for him. So you wonder if that's the end of the line for Bartolo Colon. And for Chris Bryant, he was out of the Cubs lineup today with a sprained right ankle, what the Cubs called a mild to moderate sprain. He suffered last night when he stepped on third base, taking a pop-up, kind of a freak incident. So they're not sure how long Bryant will be out. Could be up to a week. But the Cubs did pick up a big win today. They won 5-4 against the Nationals with a 3-run rally with 2 outs in the 9th.
Yeah, that was a big comeback, and the Nats lost their 6th game of the year when leading after 8 innings. Those are gut punches for a first-place team.
Yeah.
Nationals did lose Trey Turner, a broken right wrist. That's a big loss for the team that leads the National League East. Bartolo Colon, have we seen the last of Bartolo Colon?
Something tells me somebody's going to pick him up.
19 years, 235 wins. His career began in 1997. That was the year Travis Shaw's dad led the league in saves. the year Cologne started, and he's still pitching. Well, he was still pitching until a couple of days ago. Scooter Gennett leads off. Jimmy Nelson, he becomes the focus now. 3 scoreless innings. Only blemish on his line was a walk to Votto with 2 outs in the first. He got Gennett on a strikeout in the first inning. Jimmy has 4 Ks. Nelson struck out Gennett on a slider his last time up, and he's got him 0-2 here. And a fastball is hit on the ground to VR. Gennett's gone, 1 away. Strikeouts and ground balls for Jimmy Nelson.
Yep, 2 fly ball outs, 1 line drive to VR at second. Then on a pop to right.
Here's Votto now. The only man that's been on base. Nelson has only pitched from the stretch to 1 batter. Votto had reached base with that walk with 2 outs in the first inning. Otherwise, Nelson has been in that modified windup of his, which has really made a difference. Just a little quick step and then off he goes. Votto into left field. It is slicing and it is foul. Just foul. Votto still running. That was close.
And not by much. Not too far from that right field chalk line. Yep. Half a foot. Easy call for Chris Segal.
One ball, 1 strike on Votto. And that one's driven way back. Votto sends one deep to right and gone. And the first hit of the game is a home run. Joey Votto goes deep yet again. Number 22 for Votto. And it's 10-1 Milwaukee.
I think that's why Jimmy Nelson somewhat pitched around him in the first inning. That guy can hit. And he chokes up, really doesn't affect his power too much. Nice easy swing, just jumps off his bat halfway up.
Well, Great American Ballpark has surrendered the most home runs in the majors this year. That is number 129. 17 in this series, Rock.
And that's something. 6 tonight. Amazing.
A swing and a miss by Duvall, who's contributed with 2 of those home runs.
Yeah, a lot of home runs hitting the big leagues these days.
Yeah, this homestand for the Reds is going to be a 6-gamer. 3 against the Cubs are coming up. The heavy hitting Cubs are coming in, and Brewers hit a lot of home runs. There's been a lot of home runs already, and it's now getting warm. You're into the summer months, and that's when the ball really flies.
We're going to be going into Yankee Stadium. Aaron Judge leads the league in batting average, home runs, and RBIs. He's got 27 dingers.
As a rookie. Leading vote getter. Votto hit that ball 420 feet. There's a strike. Down goes Duvall. That's number 5 for Nelson.
Hey, with MLB.TV Premium, you can watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Plus, get a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Visit Brewers or MLB.TV for details. Well, I guess you can navigate through Brewers.com and get there.
Oh yeah, it takes you right there. Here's Eugenio Suarez now with 2 away. And on the first pitch, he skies one foul territory in the seats and right. Brewers need a win to maintain their spot atop the NL Central. As Sophia reported, the Cubs beat the Nationals today. Cubs may be in Cincinnati here shortly, if not already. They might come over for a little hang time, get some tickets.
Yeah.
Might see Lynn Casper, Jim DeShays. That's what it looks like at this moment, with the Cubs winning earlier today. Tied in the loss column. The Brewers with a win tonight would go 2 up in the win column, thus the 1-game lead. Brewers and Cubs will play a makeup game a week from tonight at Wrigley. A 1-game trip to Chicago to play the Cubs, and then off to New York to play the Yankees, and then the All-Star break. Late June, and the Brewers still in first place. What a ride it's been.
They're getting good pitching. Offense is clicking on all cylinders. And think about this Brewers offense. It goes hot and cold because of the home run ball. You hit the home runs, they score runs. You run into some hot pitching, you don't hit the ball out of the ballpark, or you're playing in a ballpark that makes it difficult to hit home runs. Sometimes it becomes difficult for the crew to get on the board. What do they say? Live by the sword, die by the sword.
Well, the Brewers are adding pieces to their roster, and this division is a down division. The Cubs have been a big disappointment this year. Many expected the Cubs to run away with the division. There's a grounder over to third base. Shaw, always accurate with his throws, makes the play to win the inning. And Nelson is out of the fourth. Reds get a run. Joey Votto hits a long homer. It's 10-1 now.
The Reds here in the fifth. Our minor league report, some congratulations in order to 3 players from the Brewers organization who will be representing the organization at the All-Star Futures game coming up Sunday, July 9th at Marlins Park. Lewis Brinson, Corey Ray will play for Team USA, and Mauricio Dubon will play for the World Team, the 22-year-old Honduras native. So congratulations to them for the honor. And Jorge Lopez, who's just called up today, he represented the Brewers in 2014. He had great things to say about Dubon's play in AA in Biloxi before he was recently promoted to AAA. He said that game is just such a special experience to be around all of the talent, not just with the minor leagues, but the exposure to the All-Stars as well. He says it's a game where you really feel like a big leaguer, and it gives you something more to work for, he said.
Yeah, it's televised. It's a great event. It really is a showcase. Arcia's been there as well. He was part of the Futures game on the World side. Arcia leads off here in the fifth, and a shot foul just missed the line. Nice play over there, kid. It's like Chris Sabo with the glasses on.
There you go. Got in front of it.
Yeah, he's working the chain. He's got the shades. Yeah, that's me.
He knows he's on TV. I tell you, the minor league system for the Brewers is stocked full of great talent. You know, I was texting with Rick Sweet the last couple of days talking about some of the talent down there. And
AAA manager.
AAA manager, I'm sorry. Fantasy camp coach.
More importantly,
get to know each other pretty good. But, you know, that team is 18 games over 500 in AAA. And think about all the guys that the Brewers have used from that AAA team. Up and down. I mean, really, continuity really hasn't been there, but they continue to win games. I mean, you bring Brinson up, a big run producer. You bring all these pitchers up, and they continue to get the job done. And that really speaks well for the depth of this Brewers minor league organization.
A lot of talent up and down. They have quickly evolved into one of the great minor league systems in all of baseball. Most publications would have the Brewers in the top 3, and there are some that have them as the top minor league system in the game. It's all exciting times. Votto fumbles for a moment, recovers to get the out. 2 going in the inning. And we're starting to see a lot of that up here, and I think the idea of the interchangeable parts and the talent of the minor league system certainly goes into what's going to happen the rest of this season as well. There are a number of scouts in the ballpark checking out the Brewers players, and certainly more scouts in the Brewers minor league system. And it is going to be very interesting to see how David Stearns and Matt Arnold, and obviously Mark Atanasio, the owner, how they approach this pennant race. Because the Brewers feel like they're probably where they thought they'd be with the record. They're hovering around 500. The Brewers are 2 games over. They thought they'd be a 500 team. Had enough talent to cover. What they didn't realize is that the rest of the division would struggle so much. So the opportunity to strike might be there this year.
And you can never give up an opportunity, no matter when it comes. Not to say that you're in a rebuilding phase or you're looking to the future and you're in first place. I mean, that's the big deal. And do what you can to stay there and get to the postseason, because you never know when that opportunity is going to come up again.
Oh, and in David Stearns' defense and Craig Counsell, they never use the term rebuild. We do, because it feels like that's what's happening, and that is what's happening, but they don't think of it that way. And it's been a mindset with the ball club from spring training. We're here to win, compete. We put no limits on what this team can do. As VR strikes out to end the inning. Brewers go in order in the 5th. Reds are coming to bat. South Beach this year. It's baseball's biggest stars taking the field for the MLB All-Star Game, July 11th. It's only on Fox. Don't forget, voting ends tonight if you have not voted and you wish to. Online voting will wrap up this evening, 10:59 in the Central Time Zone. Right now, the American League All-Stars at the latest release look like this. About Miguel Sano of the Minnesota Twins. Looks like he's got a chance to be the starting third baseman.
Well,
it's quite a ball club there. There's Judge. He's the leading vote getter, the rookie from the Yankees. Mike Trout injured to be a replacement there, and the Houston Astros represented by Altuve and Springer. Astros are 28 games over 500. To the bottom of the fifth we go here. Jimmy Nelson back to work. He will face Mesoraco, Peraza, and Alcantara. 10-1 Brewers on 10 hits. Bunch of home runs in this game.
Have you checked out the splits for the Astros? Did you see their road record? 29-9.
Man. 20 games over on the road. And we're only in late June.
Right. 5-0 in interleague play. They haven't played too many interleague games.
They've been a great team this year, and that, you know, David Stearns deserves a lot of credit. He helped build that team. He was the assistant general manager with Jeff Luhnow. Now the Brewers are trying to do what the Astros could not, and that is rebuild without bottoming out. Cubs lost 100 games a couple of years. Astros were one of the worst teams in baseball as they were rebuilding their system, ultimately their major league team. The Brewers have had a couple of down years, but they haven't hit that triple-digit loss number, which is the one you're always trying to avoid.
All right.
2-2 the count on the Reds catcher Mesoraco. Full count. 5 teams over 500 in the National League. Washington, Milwaukee, and the 3 in the West: Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Rockies. That'll change. There'll be some teams get hot. Brewers are open to be one of them. Nelson with a strikeout. Gets Mesoraco. Strikeout number 6 for Jimmy.
Another high fastball. Got it by a Reds hitter. All 6 strikeouts for Jimmy Nelson, or at least most of them are coming on that high fastball. He's got 1 called strike 3. That was to Duvall last inning. And the other swinging.
Nelson has found the sweet spot with that high fastball this year. As a sinker baller, a power sinker pitcher, all these years, he's found that upper quadrant of the strike zone. We've never really pitched there. That's hard to lock in, but he's done it. And it has resulted in a ton of strikeouts. He's getting a lot of swings and misses up there with his fastball.
He's still getting his ground ball outs too. He's still got that good 2-seamer working, but you know, when he's got 2 strikes and he wants a 4-seam, and it's basically up in his zone as of late. That's where all these strikeouts are coming from.
0-2 to Jose Peraza. Little lazy fly ball. Santana didn't see it right away. Now he's got it, and he makes a catch for out number 2.
Hey, this Saturday, Zach Davies gets the proud distinction of becoming a bobblehead. All fans at Miller Park for the series finale between the Brewers and the Miami Marlins will get a Zach Davies Stars and Stripes bobblehead courtesy of Clemens Sausage. Plus, don't forget that kids eat free every Sunday at Miller Park.
Two gone. Here is Alcantara. Hitting 8th in this Cincinnati batting order. 10-1 Brewers. They've hit 5 home runs. The Reds have a home run. $17 in the series is a new record for a 3-game series. We've had over a mile of homers in the series. Right?
Yeah, between the 2 teams. Of course, a mile is 5,280 feet.
Very nice. I remember that from our trips to Coors Field.
Right.
They have the row of seats in purple that have that number. How many feet of homers do we have in this series? According to your math.
I didn't do that math.
6,700 plus. R&D tells us. Nelson's got Alcantara 1 and 2. Twice this month, Jimmy has gone deep into games with no runs. He did it against San Diego, went the distance with 10 strikeouts, went 8 innings against the Dodgers with 11 Ks, and he's given up 1 run here tonight, but he's racking up the Ks. That's number 7. He's through 5. Jimmy is in cruise control right now with the Brewers up 10-1. Well, the Brewers going long ball here tonight, and this season against the Reds. Now remember, Eric Dames is responsible for 8 of these, but the Brewers have hit 25 home runs against the Cincinnati Reds, almost a quarter of their home runs. And in this series, the Brewers with 17 total for both teams, the Brewers with 10 of them, 5 tonight. Been something to behold. Santana breaks his bat, little bouncer over to short, and on the first pitch, out number 1. So do you like the feet accumulation, Rock?
Yeah.
So that's 9,000 feet of home runs in this series. In case you wanted to know that. I know you're big into the feet accumulation.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Do they keep that?
No, for the season, the home runs this year, but against the Reds, all the home runs we've hit.
Yeah. Okay. So you are sure about that?
Yeah. Well, you know, not really. I'm a little sensitive about it. Feeling a little tight about the whole situation now.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's good analysis. Exactly.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
Not much.
That's a good way to.
Well, the other thing is we've been talking about how poor the starting pitching for the Reds has been this year. Kind of goes hand in hand.
Homer Bailey, another bad outing. Shackelford is here making his major league debut. He's been a closer in AAA.
And Brewers jumped on him quickly in his first inning.
Giving up 4 runs in the 4th. He's trying to go 3 innings. And he deals a strike. 2-1 to Braun. 3 balls and a strike. Ryan's come back swinging the bat well. Even his first game, the box score is going to show you 1 for 5. He could have easily had 4 hits in that game. He was robbed 3 times. It was a great catch in right field. He hit a rocket over to third base. It actually turned into a double play. Good to have Braun back in there. It's a bouncing ball. Nice pick over there at third by Suarez, and that'll be out number 2. Santana and Braun grounding out.
And one of the major reasons why the Reds won the first 2 games of this series, because of their defense. They saved a lot of runs for their pitchers in the first 2 games of the series, particularly last night. Greg Counsell was saying before the game, I was talking to him around the batting cage about the defense, and he felt as though, you know, the defense for the Reds saved their team 4 runs at least.
Here's Travis Shaw. Now this was the catch we're talking about by Scott Schebler. So Stephen Vogt making a bid at a 3-run homer in his first at bat as a starter. And how about that play by Schebler?
Nice. He digs his cleats into that chain link fence and able to hang up there and make that catch. Scooter Gennett made a heck of a play out there yesterday at second base, taking a base hit away from Braun. One of the better defensive teams in the NL. The Reds, second in the league.
One ball, 1 strike. Pretty gaudy numbers up there by Travis Shaw, pushing his way to 60 RBIs. By the way, this is the exact halfway mark of the season. This is game number 81 of the year. And Shaw's got 17 and 57 right now. There's a lot of folks in Boston that are wondering why the Red Sox made that deal. And it wasn't just Travis Shaw either. Brewers got 3 other minor league prospects for Tyler Thornburg. Thornburg's going to come back. He's had a surgery, the thoracic outlet surgery, which clears room for the shoulder. It's actually a rib that is removed. And he'll come back. He's a tough guy, and he's a very good pitcher. An impact reliever, as a matter of fact. That's why the Red Sox wanted him so bad. But right now it's looking like a one-sided trade until Thornburg does return. And Shaw draws the walk. On base for the 3rd time tonight. Shaw has 2 walks and a single. Jesus Aguilar will step in with 2 away. He's had a big night tonight. 4 runs batted in, including a 3-run homer.
And nice guy to have, you know, to be able to plug into that starting lineup when you want to give your everyday first baseman a day off or 2. Driving in 4 runs. Well, he's done a nice job this year, has Aguilar. And a slider down in the zone with 2 strikes and way back in center. Made it 10-zip.
3-run homer for Aguilar, which was his 7th of the year. Hit 30 last year in AAA. 2 gone. Aguilar with Shaw at first. They don't hold him on. Starting to get into a little bit of that etiquette part of the game where you don't see base runners take off in a 10-1 game.
Yeah, it used to be no brainer. You don't run in these situations, but the game has changed so much these days. But I think a 9-run lead in the 6th, you better not run. A couple things you don't do. You don't swing at 3-0 pitches typically when you have a big lead. It goes hand in hand with not stealing with a big lead, and you don't bunt for base hits. Kind of the unwritten rules in baseball. Used to be that way anyway.
You guys had a lot to learn back in the day, or you'd risk your own well-being.
Or the guy behind you in the batting order who would teach you a thing or two.
Yeah, he would. What was one that you learned, say, right away that, you know, maybe you didn't know coming up through the minor leagues that you learned in the big leagues?
Yeah, and not stealing, because I was such a base stealer when I came up.
I can understand that.
It's really hard for me.
Major threat to turn that off. Aguilar lines one into center field, a base hit. And Shaw will stop at second.
Yeah, you learn those things down in the minor leagues. That's why typically back in those days, guys would spend a lot more time in the minor leagues. As a general rule, guys are coming up quickly these days, and you know, not uncommon to see 21, 22-year-olds in the majors.
It's going to be the end of the line for Shackelford. His major league debut has come to an end. Not the results he wanted, but he's made it. You're a big leaguer, Kevin Shackelford. Take pride in that. Tremendous accomplishment. Got a pitching change with 2 outs in the 6th inning. We'll set up the new hurler right after this.
A 10-1 lead here in the 6th, and the Brewers' wives play an important role in our community outreach efforts with their commitment to several important causes. Each summer, the Brewers' wives team up with Brewers Community Foundation to raise funds through a number of special events with proceeds to various organizations in greater Milwaukee. So well done to the Brewers' wives for all they do throughout the summer and all year long in Milwaukee.
All right, Sophia, thanks. And we second that. It's been a harrowing night for Sophia tonight. If you weren't with us earlier today, all the zoo animals out, and look out. Oh my gosh. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
You know what? She handled that a lot better than I would.
She did. She's amazing. Sophia, are you okay?
Well, they tell you to watch out for like flying bats and balls, but they don't tell you about snakes coming up behind you on the field. So,
my worst nightmare right there.
Yeah, it was a little bit of an ambush, but we survived.
Wow. Hernan Perez at the plate facing the new Reds hurler. This is Ariel Hernandez.
And he's been up and down a couple of times. The Brewers saw him back at Miller Park earlier this year. He retired all 8 batters that he faced in that appearance against Milwaukee and had 5 punch-outs. So he's got a good arm.
Got 2 on, 2 men out. That snake that we saw that scared Sophia, that reminds me of a story. You remember Trevor Hoffman?
Yeah.
So his older brother, Glenn, who's the third base coach of the Padres, Glenn was managing a minor league game once and put a rubber snake in the umpire's ball bat. So the bat boys didn't bring the baseballs to the umpires. They'd go get them between innings. And as the umpire is going out before the beginning of the game, he reaches down, he sees that rubber snake in there. You can imagine the reaction, very similar to what Sophia just did.
Right.
And he ejected Glenn. He threw him out before the game even started. How you like writing that umpire's report?
No.
Glenn Hoffman was ejected tonight because he scared the you-know-what out of me.
Yeah, no kidding.
Is that part of the unwritten rules to put a rubber snake in?
Don't scare the ump with a snake.
Two to Perez.
I can handle just about anything. I mean, as far, spiders and stuff like that. But if that was me right there in that seat,
yeah,
I might have had to miss the game.
At least go for a change.
Yeah. Yeah, just petrified.
Full count. Runners go. Pitches outside. Ball 4. Perez grinding as always at the plate. Earns a walk. And the bases are loaded for Manny Pena, who can turn a very good game into one of the best games of his career right here. Brewers lead at 10-1. Pena has homered tonight. Drove in a run with a single. That home run gave the Brewers a 2-0 lead. Brewers hit home runs in each of the first 4 innings in this game. Braun hit the first one, Pena in the second. VR went deep in the third, and then VR and Aguilar both homered in the fourth. Multi-homer game for VR. That's a strike. 1-2 to count. Cubs beat the Nationals earlier today 5-4, scoring 3 runs late in that game to win it. There's a swing and a miss. Pena's down on strikes. Win tonight, the Brewers will head home after this road trip. Up a game in the NL Central. They're up 10-1. And I've been to both, and they're both fantastic zoos. So yes, way to bring that all together, Jeff. That's what he's good for, you know. Jeff's very good at stuff like
No
that.
kidding, especially on games like this.
You been to the Milwaukee Zoo lately, partner?
I have not.
Well, you got grandkids now. You're about due for the zoo.
In a couple of years.
Really good zoo in Milwaukee. Make sure you go check it out. Hernandez is going to get an at-bat. The new relief pitcher will hit to start the inning against Jimmy Nelson. Brewers up 10-1 on 11 hits. 5 of those are homers. That win by the Cubs makes them the 6th team to go over the 500 mark in the National League. There were 5 when we opened play today. So when I say it feels like there are going to be some teams get on a run, and the Brewers are hoping they are one of them. You care to make a guess how many of the 15 teams will be over 500 by season's end? 7?
7, 8. Yeah.
That's the way it usually is.
There's 6 now.
As of tonight. There are 7 in the American League over 500. There's a strikeout for Nelson. That's number 8. 5 teams make it to the playoffs. You got your 3 division winners.
I think the Cardinals will end up being over 500. Just a guess. Texas.
So many teams are going to have to make decisions right now whether they are buyers or sellers. Cardinals are a perfect example.
Yeah.
I mean, in most other years, the Cardinals are probably looking to acquire some prospects, trade off some big pieces. But because the Central Division in the National League has been mediocre at this point all the way through, we're sitting first place, and now everybody's thinking about who they can pick up that would put them over the edge. Brewers made the deal and work on the waiver wire and picked up Stephen Vogt.
Yep. See, the Rockies have hit the skids.
Yeah.
Lost 8 in a row.
Yeah, the Reds are going to see these Rockies. It's their road trip before the All-Star break. After the Reds play the Cubs here in Cincinnati, they'll have a road trip to Colorado and Arizona. Colorado's been one of the best teams we've seen this year. Now, mind you, we saw them early in the season, but they're 13 games over 500. Dodgers still feel like the runaway favorite in that division, but the Diamondbacks are hanging in there. 20 over. West is tough this year. Best division in baseball. And they might have all 3 teams in the postseason the way it looks right now.
Yep, only 1 team in the East over 500. That's the Nats.
Nats have bullpen problems, though, huh?
Yeah.
Full count to Billy Hamilton with 1 out. And we'll start it over. Pirates have a lead tonight. They're up 3-0. 7th inning. And he got him. Nelson strikes him out. Back-to-back Ks in the 6th inning. That gives him 3 in a row. And 4 of his last 5 batters he has struck out. Good slider there.
Yeah, got him. That was out of the strike zone. Yeah, good pitch. Got him on the breaking ball. And back-to-back punch-outs for Jimmy. Racking him up tonight.
His career best is 11. He's done that twice. Once earlier this year against LA. That was against Los Angeles. And Scooter Gennett takes a strike. Nelson had an 11 strikeout game 2 years ago against the Cubs, and then had that start against the Dodgers on June 2nd where he struck out 11. Jimmy had a 10 strikeout game against Arizona May 28th. That was that 2-game window where Nelson had a 10K game and an 11 strikeout game and no walks.
Yeah.
21 Ks, no walks across those 2 starts.
It's been a big difference for me with Jimmy. I mean, throwing strikes, getting ahead early in the count, getting hitters to chase pitches out of the strike zone. He's always up amongst league leaders in hit batters. Leads the league sometimes and has not had that issue this year because of that good command.
Nelson, the last 2 years, has led the majors in hit batters, as a matter of fact.
He's only got 5 this year.
17 last year, 13 the year before that. Nelson has cut his walk rate almost in half this year. Walked around 4.5 per 9 innings last year. He's about less than 2.5 this year. There's a slow roller. Nelson's got to get over, and Aguilar flips it to him for the out. Heck of a play by Aguilar to Nelson. The big man's got some wheels and some good hands. Makes an excellent play, and that's a 3-up, 3-down inning. Nelson is rolling tonight. He is through 6. Milwaukee Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Cincinnati. Car stopped at a red light, Rock. Don't you hate when you're the only car and it's a red light? You know you could go safely, but the light's red and you're just sitting there like this car right here.
You know what? We're going to be dealing with that when we get back to Milwaukee tonight.
That's true. Yes, we are. Those late night arrivals. A night game getaway courtesy of the Cincinnati Reds. Those are tough. But the Brewers are making the most of it tonight. The games aren't tough. It's the travel afterwards. And Brewers pretty much, without a doubt, play day games on getaway days at Miller Park. It's always fun to go to a day game at Miller Park anyway. But here we are on a Thursday night, and the Brewers are taking it to the Reds. 10-1 on 11 hits. 5 of those are home runs. Arcia has homered in this series. He homered in game 1, his 6th of the year. And he hits out a shot over to third base. Suarez gloves it. Makes the play for the out.
You know, the offense is going to get all the headlines, but Jimmy Nelson pitching a hell of a game again. Doing a good job, good pace. And just one of those games where he has been right on the money.
Only blemish is that home run by Votto. The only hit he has allowed, and of course the only run he's given up. And he'll bat for the third time. Check it, the fourth time, I'm sorry. Nelson is 0 for 3. Anytime you're getting 4 at-bats in a game as a starting pitcher, you've done something. Nelson is putting together a pitcher of the month type month of June. Adding to it here with this start. A win tonight for Nelson would take him to 3-1 in June. ERA is going to slip down if he continues on this pace. It'll drop into the 2.75 area. Brewers lost Chase Anderson last night. Had to pick up 7 innings from the bullpen. Bullpen did a great job last night. Espino came in, gave up 3 runs. You give him a little bit of a pass, though. I mean, he was in an emergency in the 2nd inning. Nelson strikes out. 2 up and 2 down.
Yeah, last thing he was thinking about was getting into the ball game. Hey, tonight's time of the game winner, Carly's Bar in Washington Island. If they call the Brewers by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite. Washington Island. I've been there.
What do you got on that?
I used to go up there in the wintertime. They had an ice fishing kind of derby.
And how'd you do?
We didn't catch any fish, but we had a good time.
Catching fish is hardly the goal of the ice fishing derby, huh? I've been ice fishing, you know. I've got experience.
Have you?
I'm going back this year. I'm going to do it once a year. Out on Lake Winnebago. You know, that's my spot, Lake Winnebago. We took an ATV out there, Rock, about 1.5 miles. That's a big lake. It's 40 miles wide.
You could take a full car out there.
A Suburban?
Yeah.
Sure. I'm kind of into that part of it. You cut the hole out of the Suburban and just go sit in the Suburban in the heat and ice fish. But no, we didn't do that the first time. We went out. The ice wasn't thick enough, you know. As a potentially professional ice fisherman, I can tell you all the really good spots there on Lake Winnebago. One fun fact about ice fishing: when you're out there and you hear the crack of the ice,
that's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Right. Nice and strong.
Yes. Now that surprised me, because I was, you know, that reaction Sophia had with the snake?
Yeah.
That was my reaction when I heard the ice crack.
Were you running?
No, I just kind of stood still. There's a broken bat liner to Jeanette, and VR is out, and it's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Hernandez. That's been a good bat. He hates to lose that one. He's hit a couple of homers with it.
tomorrow morning, but Jimmy Nelson right on the top of his game tonight. I mean, getting ahead in the count and getting these Reds hitters to chase out of the strike zone. Watch all these strikeouts, most of them not even strikes, and that's the benefit of getting ahead in the count. I mean, Jimmy's, once again pitching a dandy. The offense, the big story, but Jimmy Nelson holding the Cincinnati Reds to just 1 run. Outstanding work once again.
Big Jimmy Nelson out of the University of Alabama at 6'6". He has found something this year. Started to see a little bit of it last year, but pitching up in the zone like a lot of pitchers are these days and finding success up there in that upper quadrant. His one nemesis tonight right here, Joey Votto, hit a home run off Nelson in the 4th inning. That was a no-doubter. How about that, Rock? Last 10 starts, 2.64 ERA.
And look at the walks to strikeouts. That's amazing. Almost 7-1. Now everybody wants to focus in on the delivery, the abbreviated windup, but it's got a lot of it has to do with confidence for Jimmy. The fact that he knows he has those 2 breaking balls to go with. Nice to know you have 3 pitches, to use anytime you want.
Well, and imagine you're a pitcher and you're at the skill level of a Jimmy Nelson, and your entire career you've been told to keep the ball down. Keep the ball down. Power sinker pitcher, get the ground balls. I'm sure it takes a lot to convince yourself that up in the strike zone is a safe place. Not only is it a safe place for Nelson with his velocity, but he is thriving up there.
But up in the strike zone when you're ahead in the count. I mean, not early in the count when you're behind. Hitter's going to be able to get to that pitch, but 2 strikes, hitter's in protect mode.
Votto sends one deep into center field, and he's got another one. Joey Votto has hit another home run off Jimmy Nelson. He's been the only Reds offense. The 2nd home run of the game. Votto now with 23 for the season.
Just such a nice easy swing. I mean, really, that's a 3-1 pitch. Hasn't been that often that Jimmy's been behind in the count. 3-1, 2-seamer, and home run hitters know when they get him. You can see the reaction of Votto. He hits it, he knows it's out. It's not out by much, but he knows his ballpark. 2 hits, 2 home runs by Votto. That's all Jimmy's allowed tonight.
It's incredible power with what looks like a very easy, compact swing, and he can generate some kind of force with that swing. He's having a great year. He'll be an all-star this season.
And he chokes up 2 inches.
Right.
I mean, that should tell you, you don't have to be on the end of the bat.
Now Duvall sends one to left. That's deep in the corner. That stays in. Takes a big bounce, though. Coming over is Perez, and Duvall's going to stop at second base. Good hustle by Hernan Perez to back that one up. Otherwise, Duvall's going to be in the 3rd.
Yeah, Ryan tried to get there, got a little bit too close to the wall. I think he thought he might be able to catch it. It hung up there for him. And slider off the end of the bat. I think Duvall initially thought he hit that out of the ballpark. He wasn't running all that hard out of the box. About midway up on that wall, and Perez able to go get it, hold him to a double.
It's only the 3rd hit of the night. And the Reds with a home run and a double to start this 7th inning. We'll bring up Eugenio Suarez. 10-2 now. Brewers lead. That home run by Votto is now the 18th home run of this series between these 2 teams, as Carlos Torres begins to get loose.
Pitch count not quite at 100 yet, at 95.
They'll ask if he went. He did. It's a swing. And Suarez in an 0-2 hole.
No doubt he went on that.
No balls, 2 strikes. Nelson looking for his first out of this 7th inning. Nelson has been on cruise control for most of this game. Hasn't even pitched from the stretch that often. Might be running out of gas on a warm night in Cincinnati. Nelson had to pitch through a driving rainstorm his last time out in Atlanta. Two now to Suarez. And he got him. A strikeout for Nelson. Pena puts the tag on him to secure it. And the first out of the inning is strikeout number 10 for Jimmy.
Another strikeout on a pitch that's out of the strike zone. Not even close. Got a good late break on that slider tonight at 91, so he still has some gas left.
Pretty efficient tonight. That first inning was a 20-pitch inning. Nelson had 2 strikeouts and a walk in that inning. Some deep counts. He's been efficient, though. This will be number 100 as he faces Devin Mesoraco. Try to change up that time to start the at-bat.
That's I think second or third one he's thrown tonight.
Good time to work on it. For the 5th time in his career, he has double-digit strikeouts. He is a strikeout away from matching a career best. Two and one now. Brewers are going to have 3 players participating in the futures game. Lewis Brinson, Mauricio Dubon, who came with Shaw from the Red Sox, the talented young shortstop. Dubon will be participating for the World team. Corey Ray is the other participant at the futures game. Ray played his college ball not too far from here at Louisville. The Chicago native. He's having a good year for Carolina Mudcats in single A. Ray was the 5th overall pick last season. First round. 2-2. Brinson, Ray, and Dubon. Futures game leads up to the Home Run Derby the night before. You can watch that game. It's televised and see some of the Brewer prospects. Tell you what, for a long time the Brewers were thrilled to just have one guy make it. Now they've got 3 and a whole bunch of prospects still in the system. A high fly ball playable to right for Santana. 2 outs in the inning. Hey, don't forget you can kick off your 4th of July weekend this weekend. The Marlins take on the Brewers Saturday at 2:30, and this game is on FS1, remember. And then it's Yankees Astros at 6 p.m., the national game on your local Fox station. You can watch it live on FS Go as well. Fox Sports Wisconsin Friday and Sunday, Saturday FS1. I believe Aaron Goldsmith is calling the play-by-play. I have not heard who his partner will be.
Yeah, second consecutive Saturday the Brewers have been on the national network.
Rock and I will be at the spa. I guess we could ask Uke if he needs some help Saturday. Come do a little radio.
No, I'm going to be on the boat listening to you.
Oh, nice. What boat are you going to be on? What time's that going to?
The pontoon.
Take off.
Our foursome's full.
No, our threesome's
full. I knew it was something like that.
You see, because normally you could play 4. And so you say your threesome's full, meaning you don't want that person with you. Get it?
I get it now.
You can come up with some nautical reason to not invite the Andersons over.
We're all set.
Yeah, my daughter's been asking about Rock's boat and when that's going to happen again.
It's kind of been a crazy summer, hasn't it? I mean, the weather.
You're changing the subject.
Haven't been able to get on the boat all year.
He just changed the subject.
Haven't been able to get out all year. You know what? Maybe when
it's a perfect time to have us.
Maybe when I break it in, I just to make sure everything works.
You break in that 20-year-old boat of yours.
I'll call you later.
That hit him, and then it caught a piece of Pena. That might have been a foul ball. I think it is called a foul ball, and that one really struck Pena. You're just not expecting that. You're going up to catch the ball up and in, and you get the ricochet.
Yeah, watch where it gets him. Gets the bat and gets a piece of Manny.
This will give us a good look at where it got him. Yeah. Oh, right in the ribs. Man.
Yeah, right where the chest protector ends.
I mean, that ball's got to be coming in there at 95, 97 miles an hour when it ricochets off the bat like that.
I mean, the bruise is going to be bad enough, the impact. It knocks the wind out of you a little bit.
Field and Colbert, home plate umpire, checking in on Manny Pena. Says, you all right, Manny? Make sure you block those pitches in the dirt now and keep them off me. Oh, and 2 the count to Peraza. 2 outs in the inning. Nelson's trying to get through this 7th inning. He has given up a home run to Votto. And he does. A strikeout. That'll probably be it for Jimmy Nelson. And he matches a career high in strikeouts. That is number 11. 3rd time he's done it in his career. It's 10-2 Milwaukee as we go to the 8th. Yeah, Jimmy Wynn.
Jimmy Wynn. Yep.
Those are my guys back in the day. Jeff Grayson. Domingo Santana will lead off for the Brewers. 10-2 the score. Joey Votto is out of the game. He will be doing no further damage tonight. He's done the only damage for the Reds, hitting 2 solo home runs off Nelson. Patrick Kiblahan will take over. Santana 0 for 3, was hit by a pitch and scored a run in the 3rd. I grew up in a town that was about 2.5 hours from each major league city. 2.5 hours from Arlington, 2.5 hours from Houston. That's deep into center field. Santana, did he get it? That is way back, and Hamilton runs out of room. It's a home run for Santana. And the home runs keep flying out of here. That is the 6th of the game for the Brewers tonight. It is the 8th home run of this game for both teams. And Domingo gets back on track as he pops number 13.
Check this out. Fastball up in the strike zone. Santana with such quick hands. That back is through the zone very quickly. Nice easy swing. And watch the way this ball flies out of here. Billy Hamilton gives up on it, and yet another home run for the Crew. Boy, they something else tonight.
19 home runs in this series. Updated Powerball home run leaderboard. Domingo Santana now tied with Broxton for 3rd on the club. Wonder if Eric Dames is wishing he was in the lineup tonight. Braun breaks his bat, and on a hop out to shortstop, Peraza will make the play for the out. This has been an incredible series.
Yeah.
Weather's been perfect. It's warm. There's a slight summer breeze blowing out, and 19 combined homers. 131 home runs now that this ballpark has allowed this year. That is the most of any park.
Darnell Cole's happy man tonight. Jason Lane, the assistant hitting coach.
And you love games like this. Kind of a very similar feel in Atlanta, where the Brewers lost the first 2 close games, exciting games, and then they had a blowout win in the final game of that series. Brewers are going to go 2-4 on the road trip, but they're going to go home.
You putting this one
still
in
in
the
first place,
by the way?
If they finish this off, they're going to go 2-4.
Are you actually putting this one in the books?
No. I made that mistake once. You're right. That's a good catch. That's part of the unwritten rules of broadcasting. I did that once in a minor league game. It was 9-1, and I.
Oh, didn't the Rockies blow a 9-run lead?
Yeah. Yes. After the 7th inning.
Right. So don't pack up the bats quite yet.
Not packing them. You're right. Why don't you just finish out, Rock?
But good chance they're going to leave 2-4.
Soften the blow. Barring a miraculous comeback, the Brewers are going to go 2-4 on this road trip. 2-2 to Shaw. As a called strike 3. Travis is out. 2 outs in the inning. Well, we're back at it tomorrow night. The Brewers are returning to Milwaukee after the game tonight, and then a series with the Marlins starting tomorrow. And a man who has thrown the only no-hitter in the big leagues this year, Edinson Volquez, is on the mound for the Marlins against Matt Garza. Miller Lite, what's on tap? We're on the air at 6:30 for Brewers Live. Who's on Brewers Live tomorrow, Rock?
I know Craig Kashan will be on there.
He'll be
there.
there.
If it's Augie or Davey. It's not me over the weekend. I will, though, be doing the Baltimore series.
All right. Double dipping.
Yeah.
Well, we'll look forward to that.
I just got a text message from Jeff Grayson, who does not miss a word of these broadcasts.
Right.
It's going to be Davey Nelson.
Perfect.
So they're going to be Craig and Davey.
We'll get you started at 6:30 tomorrow night. Aguilar fouls it away. Davey's got a bunch of stories all lined up, ready to go for tomorrow.
Should I take anything into the fact that he responded with that in all capitals?
I think that's sort of like he's yelling at you.
Yeah, I know.
Trying to get your attention. One and two, and a swing and a miss, and the inning is over. To the bottom of the 8th. Brewers get another home run in the top of the 8th from Domingo Santana. The long ball has been a big part of this one tonight. Multi-homers from VR. Santana, the last home run. 11-2 Brew Crew. I remember the old Astrodome. When they were the Houston Colt 45s, they played in an outdoor venue, and you couldn't play in the summers in Texas. So hot. VR makes a play, and out at first is Arismendi Alcantara. And they're certainly going to look at this one. Remember, actually, you know, they won't look at this one because the Reds do not have a challenge remaining.
Yeah, that's right. They could look at it, and then Riggleman can come out and ask for him to look at it.
The crew chief can request a review, and I think he might
overturn it.
Yeah, Field and Colbert is going to make this a crew chief review, which the umpires can do after the 7th inning. Anyway, so they played outside in Houston as the Colt 45s. Not just the heat, but the mosquitoes, which were the size of birds. So that's why the Astrodome was an important piece to the Houston baseball story.
And when it was first opened, they had real grass in there. It all died.
Yeah, that didn't last long. Safe is the call. That was a quick review. I think Field and Colbert knew that was going to be a safe call.
Yeah, the Reds didn't even have to ask him.
Jorge Lopez is the new pitcher. Back in the big leagues for the first time after his debut in 2015. And you see the numbers at AA Biloxi. He had been a starter down there, but his last 2 outings were out of the bullpen, and he's pitching well.
Earned run average at a little over 5, a little deceiving. He had really one bad outing that kind of blew up that earned run average a bit.
Perfect opportunity for Lopez to reacclimate to his new role here in the big leagues. The Brewers now have 4 pitchers in their bullpen that have been starters in the minor leagues, which gives Craig Counsell some options. Well, you know, you go back to 2015 as you see Broxton in the game in center. That moves Perez over to left field. But you go back to 2015, Lopez coming in as one of the highest rated pitching prospects in the Brewers system. He was 22 years of age. He makes it to the majors. He makes 2 starts that year. And you figure he might have a chance to be in the rotation in 2016. He didn't make that team. Went to AAA and really struggled last year in AAA. So much so they dropped him back down to AA. There's a liner into right field. That's going to be played on a hop. And a base hit for Stuart Turner. So an infield hit, now a clean single to right. 2 men are on with nobody out.
And Lopez has a very good changeup. That's one of his better pitches. We remember him, you know, as a starter for the Brewers. Made a couple of starts. Changeup, one of his better pitches.
Well, it's a great lesson in taking advantage of an opportunity when you have it, and Lopez certainly knows that. Put a lot of pressure on himself to get back to the big leagues and never reemerged last year. And when it was all said and done, he had a minor league season where he went 4-12 with a 4.86 ERA. But then he went to instructional ball. This is a guy who's been in the big leagues. He ends up in instructional league to try to work out some kinks. Found it there. There's a base hit by Hamilton. And suddenly the Reds have the bases loaded here in the 8th inning.
Well, getting a lot of the plate with his fastball is Lopez. Not much on it. Doesn't throw hard. Pretty straight. And you can see the look on Craig Counsell's face. This is not what he had in mind. He was hoping for a relatively easy way through this game. Check it out. I mean, that ends up getting a lot of the plate, the 2-seam fastball, and Billy Hamilton just serves it out into left field.
Lopez had a terrific winter ball this offseason, pitching in Puerto Rico, his hometown. And here he is back in the big leagues. Brewers still have a lot of high expectations for Lopez. He actually comes in as the 13th rated prospect in the Brewers system. He's still only 24.
And he's got himself in a bit of a jam right now. Needs a ground ball.
Facing Scooter Gennett. Bases loaded. And there is a ground ball, foul.
And keep in mind, Joey Votto out of the game. Kiplahan's on deck, not Joey Votto.
No balls and a strike. Lopez deals it up and away. Jorge is 6'3". Brewers drafted him in the 2nd round in 2011. Was pitching in a military academy as a prep school in Caguas, Puerto Rico. Missing badly again with a changeup. Bases loaded, full of Reds, nobody out to start this 8th inning.
Yeah, it becomes a little lonely out there for Lopez when you can't get your secondary pitches over for strikes. Now he's got to throw a fastball here.
96-mile-an-hour fastball.
Maybe he's added a few miles an hour, huh?
Pitching out of the bullpen has allowed him to air it out a little bit more. Lopez went back to Double-A this season, where he had some success last year. Showed you those 13 starts. He had more strikeouts than innings pitched. There's a ground ball. That is foul. Lopez is averaging 9.7 strikeouts per 9 innings. Walks are a little higher than he wanted, but better than last season. 3.5 walks per 9. His big year was 2015, the year he made it to the big leagues. He was the Brewers pitcher of the year in the minor leagues. 12-5 with a 2.26 earned run average. That was his first year in Double-A. 2-2 the count. And that one's foul.
Where'd that hit?
I don't know, but it ended up like it was in fair territory.
Seemed like it hit the bag and popped up, but that couldn't have been.
I saw the same thing. Oh, it hit a notch in the dirt. That's why it popped up like that. That was crazy.
Not even close to being a fair ball, but it hit the bag.
Another 2-2. This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat coming to Scooter Gennett. Jorge Lopez needing an out desperately. Would love to get a ground ball here. Brewers would gladly concede a run to turn 2. A 9-run lead in this 8th inning. And it's outside for a ball. Try that changeup again.
Yeah, can't get it over, not even close. Overthrown it a bit. Everything up and away with the changeup. And that's his money pitch.
Lopez arriving here, taking the roster spot of Chase Anderson, who was placed on the DL. Left oblique injury last night. And instead of bringing a starter up, Greg Counsell saying we're going to try to just get through the next few days first with relief help, and then make a decision on who will enter into the starting rotation in Anderson's spot, which will be Tuesday. On the ground. Chance to turn it. VR to Arcia, and there is what Lopez is looking for. A run will score, but it's a 4-6-3 double play ball.
Well, that's a nice gift for Jorge Lopez. Scooter Gennett hit it right on the nose, but right at VR, and they turned it into an easy double play. Just what the doctor ordered right there. Easy. Yeah, he likes it.
Some breathing room now with 2 outs, runner at third, and here comes Patrick Kiblahan. This is going to be a very interesting window of time for Jorge Lopez. And the Brewers are hoping they might be able to find something with him in the big leagues. He's got a live arm, as you can see. Great movement. All the stuff's there, Rock.
I'd say he's throwing harder than I thought. Harder than I remember. I don't remember 95, 96.
There's a high fly ball into center. That's playable. And Lopez comes out of that mess as good as you can almost. Just gives up the 1 run. Bases loaded, nobody out. Lopez back in the big leagues for the first time in 2 years. Brewers are flying high tonight. 6 home runs in this game. Most home runs the Brewers have hit as a team since 2007. And you're watching us tonight on Fox Sports Wisconsin, courtesy of Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. 11-3 is our score as we head to the 9th inning. 11 runs on 12 hits. 6 of those are homers for the Brewers. Yeah, the Brewers had a 6 home run game right here in Cincinnati back in 2007. Stuart Turner will stay in the game to catch for the Reds. And the new pitcher is Blake Wood. He'll face Hernan Perez to start this 9th inning.
Yeah, he got roughed up his last time out at Washington. That was on the 24th. An inning, gave up 4 runs. And even after all that, you know, ERA in the low 4s.
Jimmy Nelson pitched to Jim tonight, gave up 2 runs. They were both earned runs and both on Joey Votto swings. Votto hit 2 solo home runs tonight. Nelson went 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, and matched a career high 11 strikeouts tonight.
He continues to get it done, doesn't he?
What a June he had. Impressive. Little roller out to Jeanette. Perez is out. And 1 away here in the 9th.
Yeah, 50 strikeouts in June and only what, 9 walks? That's not bad.
He will certainly be a pitcher of the month candidate for the Brewers in June. 3 more defensive outs. Nelson would win his 3rd in the month. It would take him to 6-4. Manny Pena takes a strike. Brewers lost the opener here Tuesday 8-6. Lost last night 4-3. 2 close games. Brewers actually had leads in both of those games. And it's been lopsided tonight on a 6 home run attack. 8 home runs in the game combined between these 2 teams. Manny Pena hit a home run in the 2nd. Down he goes on strikes. 2 gone now. If you're wondering about Nelson's ERA, it's going to drop a little tonight. 7 innings, 2 runs. It's going to go to 3.43 for the season. Come out of here 6-4 with a 3.43 ERA. Next start will be Wednesday.
And the question is, who's going to be the Brewers starter on Tuesday, right? That's when they're going to have to name a starter to replace Anderson.
And instead of an off day Thursday, which was originally on the schedule, Arcia sends one to left field. And that'll be the inning for Wood. 3 up, 3 down. Brewers go quietly in the 9th. And here we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Last call for the Reds. 3 outs away from a win. To the bottom of the 9th inning. Brewers trying to cap off this road trip with a lopsided win. Yeah, they're hanging there in there right to the end. Gotta love that. All smiles tonight for the Brewers and their fans. And Jorge Lopez trying to finish this one off, give him 2 innings. He did give up a run last inning, but was able to pitch out of a bases loaded, nobody out jam. He will face Adam Duvall to start the inning. Duvall, Suarez, and Mesoraco. See if Lopez can get it going a little bit. And on the first pitch, a line shot into left field. Perez able to cut it off. And Duvall's into second base with a double. He has 2 hits tonight.
A couple of doubles, and once again Lopez with a fastball. 4-seamer out over the plate, and Duvall able to hit it hard into left, out to left center. Yeah, 4 hits off of Jorge Lopez.
Second double in as many at-bats for Adam Duvall. Runner at second. Eugenio Suarez now. Lopez has hit 96 tonight with a fastball. His average fastball velocity in the 2 starts in 2015 was 94.8. He's riding it in the mid-90s. He's trying to find that changeup, though. That's been the pitch that he's been searching for in this outing.
Yeah, he hasn't really come close on that pitch yet. He needs it to make that fastball effective.
On the ground, and Arcia is going to go to third. Going to have a runner, Duvall, in a rundown. VR gives it up, and Arcia will put the tag on. Good play by Arcia. Bad base running by Duvall.
And you wonder what somebody sometimes are thinking when you're down by that many runs. You're down by 8 runs, and you're making an out on the bases. That's just very poor base running. By Duvall.
Heck of a play by Arcia as well, going in the hole.
And it's his only play, really. And served on a platter, Adam Duvall gives the Brewers an out here in the 9th. Rundown took a little bit too long, but they're able to get the out.
And not only are you running into an out down 8 runs, but you're essentially taking a hit away from your teammate. Because Arcia, as great as he is, no chance he's going to throw out Suarez on that play. That was too deep in the hole. Scott Schebler pinch hitting, sends one deep to right, and it is a foul ball. Man, oh man, on the first pitch, he was hacking. Launched one out of here. Schebler's got 20 homers this year.
And they're just attacking the fastball. They sit in that dugout, and they're aware of the fact that that was actually a breaking pitch. My mistake. That was a breaking ball slider, I think, and Schebler out in front of it a little bit.
Hit it a long way. Shift is on for Schebler as Lopez deals a fastball up and in. Now you can imagine what's going through the mind of Jorge Lopez. Back in the big leagues, first time in 2 years. He's been bumped back to the bullpen in the minor leagues to prepare for this kind of possibility. Now he wants to show well. This will be a good outing to get in there. Low pressure situation here with the big lead, and see if he can find something. You know, the Brewers are going to be working with him. They've got a couple of pitching coaches that are excellent mechanics coaches as well. Derek Johnson and Lee Tunnell, the bullpen coach. Lopez just has not been able to throw that changeup for a strike.
No. And because of that, these Reds are all over the fastball. They really haven't missed many.
One gone, 9th inning. This game was 10-0 in the fourth. Brewers scored 4 in the third, 4 more in the fourth inning. Joey Votto responsible for the first 2 Reds runs. And then a run came in on a double play ball last inning. No RBI. Schebler draws the walk. 2 on now with 1 away. And that'll bring up Jose Peraza. In the air to right, hit pretty well. Santana is there, and he'll bring it in for the second out.
Yeah, had him played perfectly, guarding the line. Yeah, thinking that Peraza's not going to pull it.
Cincinnati is a very sentimental spot for Jorge Lopez. He had a young child that had a lot of medical problems, and Cincinnati was the spot they received the treatment. Pitching in the big leagues for Jorge Lopez, and the pressure of staying here is more than just about pitching against big league hitters. It has multiple layers, especially major league insurance when you arrive here and trying to set up his family. We talk about the pressure a guy feels. There's the pressure to perform, and then you add that extra layer of what's going on at home.
Right.
So he's had a lot to deal with and manage the last few years. And that's why I think throughout the Brewers system, and when you see a guy like Jorge Lopez, a lot of that story is private. We don't know all that went into it, but when you see Jorge Lopez show up with a big smile on his face, it just makes you smile.
Right.
He's made it. He's been able to get back to the big leagues. And that is a huge moment for he and his family, regardless of the numbers today. Happy for him. And now he wants to put that all in the past and become a big league pitcher for a long, long time, which he certainly has the talent to do.
It's one thing to get back here, another thing to stay. And that's going to be up to him.
Well, he's an out away from giving the Brewers 2 innings in relief. 1-2 pitch. Never mind. Step off. Set it up. These 2-inning relief stints are huge for a bullpen. On the ground. This should do it. And the Brewers win the finale here in Cincinnati in convincing fashion. Jorge Lopez